In the silent bones of our planet lie secrets carved in stone, enormous, immovable, and impossibly precise. Across vast deserts, deep jungles, and forgotten isles, ancient hands shaped monoliths that have endured millennia without a single word left behind. How did they lift stones heavier than modern machines can bear? Why did they align their creations with stars, solstices, and shadows? Were these structures mere temples or messages from a mind long lost, or not entirely human? From the sun-baked plains of Nabta Playa, to the eerie circles of Stonehenge, to the towering megaliths of Baalbek, we trace the ghost print of civilizations whose names we may never know, but whose legacy towers over our own. This isn't just a journey through ruins. It's a descent into time itself, into the uncanny genius of those who lived before history and left behind puzzles that refuse to be solved. So dim the lights. Let your mind wander, and for the next 3 hours, drift through the ancient world of stone and silence, where mystery sleeps and waits to be awakened. Let's begin. Beneath the pale light of the Georgian dawn, where the rugged contours of the ancient Caucasus Mountains begin to stir, lies a place carved not only into stone, but into the very fabric of history itself. Here, perched above the winding Mtkvari River, stretches Uplistsikhe, a vast complex of rock-cut structures that seem to rise organically from the earth, a silent city hewn from the soft sandstone cliffs. It is a place where time feels suspended, where the air holds whispers of centuries long past, and where stone walls echo the footsteps of civilizations that have vanished into the mist of legend. As we approach, the enormity of Uplistsikhe's labyrinthine galleries, tunnels, and chambers becomes strikingly clear. The settlement's architecture is unlike any other in the region, a sprawling fusion of natural rock formations and human ingenuity. Here, carved facades mimic columns and arches, while caves serve as homes, temples, and public spaces. The warm hue of the sandstone seems to glow softly under the morning sun, revealing patterns worn by wind and time, but still hinting at the deliberate artistry of ancient hands. Uplistsikhe, translating roughly as Lord's Fortress, is one of the oldest urban settlements in the Caucasus, its origins tracing back over 3 millennia to the late Bronze Age. Archaeological evidence reveals a city that flourished across centuries, adapting through the rise and fall of empires, from pagan cult centers to early Christian refuges. It was a vital hub along the Silk Road, a melting pot where East met West, and cultures collided and converged. Yet, despite its significance, Uplistsikhe remains shrouded in an air of enigma. The layout itself provokes questions. Unlike the carefully planned urban grids seen in many ancient cities, Uplistsikhe's streets seem organic, weaving unpredictably through the rocky terrain. Was this irregularity born of necessity, adapting to the contours of the land? Or was it the result of centuries of layered construction, each era adding to the complexity of the whole? Some chambers, hewn deep within the rock, bear unmistakable signs of religious activity. Altars, niches, and ritual basins carved with precision. Others appear domestic, with hearths and storage spaces. But the exact purposes of many rooms remain uncertain, and the transition between secular and sacred zones is blurred. Intriguingly, some of Uplistsikhe's most imposing spaces resemble ancient theaters or assembly halls, their amphitheater-like arrangements suggesting public gatherings or ceremonial events. How central was this city in the political or spiritual life of the region? And what stories might these empty halls hold? Stories never recorded in texts but etched in stone. The architecture reveals influences that defy easy categorization. There are clear parallels to other ancient rock-cut cities across the Near East and Anatolia, yet Uplistsikhe's design seems uniquely Georgian. The craftsmanship hints at sophisticated knowledge of engineering, acoustics, and urban planning, yet we lack written records explaining the methods or motivations of its builders. This absence of textual evidence adds a layer of mystery. Who exactly were the architects of Uplistsikhe, and what inspired their vision? Historically, Uplistsikhe's prominence waned with the rise of nearby Tbilisi and the spread of Christianity. Many of its pagan shrines were abandoned or repurposed, and the city was partly destroyed by invasions and earthquakes over the centuries. The archaeological layers reveal traces of destruction and reconstruction, but also resilience. Why was Uplistsikhe ultimately forsaken? Was it merely geopolitical shifts, or were there deeper, perhaps spiritual or cultural reasons for its decline? Among the stones lie tantalizing mysteries. Certain carvings and symbols defy straightforward interpretation. Are they purely decorative, or do they encode forgotten languages or rituals? Some researchers speculate about astrological alignments. Could Uplistsikhe have functioned as an ancient observatory or calendar? Its orientation and the positioning of specific chambers invite such theories, but definitive proof remains elusive. Fringe theories sometimes surface, hinting at connections to lost civilizations, or suggesting that Uplistsikhe was a seat of secret knowledge, perhaps a sanctuary for esoteric rites. While mainstream archaeology maintains caution, these ideas underscore how much remains unknown. How much of Uplistsikhe's story lies buried beneath its rubble, waiting to be uncovered? Could future discoveries rewrite our understanding of this enigmatic city? The silence of the stone corridors invites reflection. Uplistsikhe is not merely an archaeological site. It is a monument to human perseverance, creativity, and the inexorable passage of time. Each chiseled groove, each hollowed chamber, speaks of lives lived in the shadow of great unknowns, of faith and fear, of community and solitude. It challenges us to consider what knowledge has been lost and what might still be found. As the sun climbs higher, casting long shadows that play among the ruins, one can almost hear the faint murmurs of history breathing through the air. What secrets did the ancient inhabitants carry with them? What forces shaped their lives and their city? And what echoes of Uplistsikhe's past continue to resonate today, hidden just beyond the reach of our understanding? This ancient fortress of stone stands as a timeless sentinel, part history, part mystery, inviting us to look deeper, to question, and to wonder. What lies beneath the surface of Uplistsikhe's silent stones? The journey to uncover its truths is far from over. As the echoes of Uplistsikhe's ancient stones fade gently into the stillness of the Caucasus twilight, our journey takes us northward, far beyond the sun-drenched sandstone cliffs, to a land where the skies stretch wide and pale, and the earth breathes with an entirely different rhythm. Here, amidst the endless forests, fjords, and tundra of Scandinavia, stand the enigmatic Sami stone circles, silent monuments that have withstood the relentless passage of millennia, standing as cryptic witnesses to a world that once was. Picture a windswept clearing beneath the endless Arctic sky, where jagged stones rise in carefully arranged arcs and circles, their rough-hewn surfaces etched by centuries of weather. These stone circles, scattered across the northern landscapes of Norway, Sweden, and Finland, hold a quiet, almost austere beauty. They appear unassuming at first glance, mere piles of rock, but as you draw closer, the deliberate precision in their placement becomes apparent. These are not random assemblages, but structures imbued with meaning, born of a culture intimately connected to the land, the sky, and the subtle passage of seasons. The Sami, indigenous people of this vast Nordic expanse, have long been the guardians of traditions deeply entwined with nature. Their relationship with the earth and its rhythms is reflected in the stones that mark their ancestral lands. Archaeologists date many of these stone circles to the late Iron Age and early medieval period. Though some may be older, their origins obscured by time and folklore. Unlike the megalithic structures of southern Europe or the Great Pyramids of Egypt, these stone circles are modest in scale, often consisting of a dozen or two stones arranged in rings, sometimes spanning several meters across. Yet their simplicity belies a complexity of purpose that continues to puzzle researchers. Many Sami stone circles are believed to have served ritualistic functions, perhaps as sites for ceremonies connected to the cycles of nature, hunting rites, or shamanistic practices. Their placement on elevated ground or near water bodies hints at a desire to commune with elements both earthly and celestial. Some circles align subtly with the solstices or other astronomical events, suggesting a sophisticated understanding of the heavens that guided Sami spiritual life. Could these stones have served as ancient calendars, marking time in a land where daylight itself ebbs and flows in dramatic cycles? Or were they sacred meeting points where community, spirituality, and survival intertwined beneath the sweeping northern lights? Yet, despite these insights, much about the Sami stone circles remains shrouded in uncertainty. Unlike other megalithic traditions with clearer archaeological records or mythologies, the Sami culture was historically oral, passing down knowledge through stories and songs rather than written texts. This scarcity of written history leaves a veil of mystery over the exact rituals performed here, the meaning behind the stones, and the full extent of their cultural significance. Some scholars suggest the circles may be linked to ancestor worship or even territorial markers, though such interpretations struggle to capture the full depth of Sami cosmology, which embraces a world alive with spirits, animals, and natural forces. The stones might represent more than mere physical markers. They could be anchors between the seen and unseen realms, points where the human and spirit worlds converged in moments of ceremony. Beyond established theories, fringe interpretations arise. Whispers that these circles were not solely spiritual or communal spaces, but perhaps held hidden knowledge, a cosmic key to ancient wisdom. Could the Sami have been stewards of an esoteric science encoded in stone? Some researchers draw parallels between these circles and other global megalithic sites, speculating on lost connections or shared origins. While such ideas remain speculative, they underscore the profound human desire to find meaning in these enduring monuments. The Sami stone circles are also part of a living tradition. Even today, some Sami communities honor these sites, weaving ancient reverence into modern identity. The stones continue to stand, not as relics of a distant past, but as silent guardians of a culture that persists in the face of changing times. As we stand amidst the cool northern air, the stones around us whisper stories of resilience, faith, and the delicate balance between humans and the vast forces of nature. What truths have these circles silently witnessed? How much knowledge has been lost beneath layers of snow, moss, and silence? And what might future explorations reveal about the people who shaped these stones and the mysteries they left behind? The Sami stone circles challenge us to look beyond the surface, not just at the stones themselves, but into the depths of human connection to place, spirit, and time. Their quiet presence invites reflection on the unseen threads that bind us to the past and on the mysteries still waiting, quietly, beneath the endless northern sky. From the windswept, snow-kissed stones of the Sami circles beneath the Arctic sky, our journey now leads us across continents and climates, descending from the cool northern forests to the sun-drenched plains and rolling savannas of West Africa. Here, scattered across the borderlands of Senegal and the Gambia, lies another ancient enigma, the Senegambian stone circles. These silent sentinels stand in quiet testimony to a civilization that once flourished here, their presence inviting us to ponder lives and beliefs that have long slipped beyond the reach of history. Imagine stepping into a vast, grassy landscape dotted with hundreds of upright stones, some towering over 2 meters tall, arranged in tightly packed circles or oval patterns. The stones, made of laterite, a reddish iron-rich soil turned hard as rock, contrast vividly against the green expanse. Some of these megaliths are finely shaped, others rough-hewn, each carefully placed as if part of a grand, deliberate design. The circles range widely in size, from a few meters across to expansive complexes capable of enclosing dozens of stones. At first glance, the landscape appears serene, almost timeless. But beneath this calm surface lie questions that still puzzle archaeologists and historians alike. The Senegambian stone circles, numbering over 1,000 individual monuments spread across roughly 2,000 square kilometers, constitute one of Africa's largest megalithic sites. Their origins are thought to date back as far as the first millennium BCE, with many constructed between 3rd century BCE and the 16th century CE. Yet their purpose remains elusive. Unlike other megalithic sites associated with religious temples or astronomical observatories, these circles have yet to reveal any conclusive evidence of similar functions. Archaeological excavations have unearthed burial goods, pottery shards, beads, and iron tools within and around many of the stone circles, firmly establishing them as burial sites. The stones themselves appear to mark graves or collective cemeteries, suggesting a complex social structure that honored the dead in ways both communal and monumental. But the precision and scale of the arrangements hint at something more than mere markers. Were these circles also places of ritual significance, social gathering, or territorial demarcation? And how did the societies who built them understand their place in the cosmos, reflected in these carefully crafted stone patterns? The stones' alignment and grouping offer tantalizing clues. Some researchers propose that certain circles may align with solar or lunar cycles, hinting at a prehistoric calendar system. Others note that the size and shape of the stones vary significantly, possibly indicating social hierarchies or clan divisions. Yet, unlike the towering pyramids of Egypt or the elaborate rock-cut temples elsewhere, the Senegambian circles do not display overt inscriptions or iconography, leaving their messages cryptic and open to interpretation. One of the most captivating mysteries involves the method of construction. Moving these heavy laterite stones, some weighing several tons, without the wheel or draft animals would have demanded remarkable communal effort and ingenuity. What motivated these ancient people to invest such time and labor into these enduring monuments? Was it solely reverence for the dead, or did the stones serve a larger, perhaps spiritual or cosmological role? Beyond archaeological facts, local oral traditions provide a rich tapestry of legends connected to the circles. In some communities, the stones are believed to be the petrified remains of ancient people or ancestral spirits, transformed by powerful magic. Others tell of the stones as markers of sacred ground or gateways to other realms. Such folklore adds layers of cultural significance that challenge purely scientific interpretations and remind us that these stones have lived meanings for generations beyond the realm of academia. Speculative theories occasionally surface, suggesting connections to broader ancient civilizations or lost knowledge. Some propose that the Senegambian stone circles are remnants of a sophisticated but now vanished culture, one that might have engaged in long-distance trade or shared cosmological ideas with distant peoples. Others have even hypothesized extraterrestrial involvement, though such claims remain firmly outside mainstream scholarship. What is undeniable, however, is that the scale and complexity of the site challenge simple explanations. The discovery and study of these stone circles have been relatively recent compared to other World Heritage sites, partly due to the remote and dispersed nature of the monuments. As modern archaeological methods advance, including satellite imaging and geophysical surveys, new insights continue to emerge, yet the core enigma remains. Why were these stones raised here, in these precise numbers and formations? What stories do they hold of the people who lived, loved, and died beneath their silent gaze? Walking among the circles, one senses an intangible presence, a connection across millennia that transcends time and geography. The stones seem to ask quietly, who were these ancestors? What beliefs shaped their lives? And how might understanding their world change our view of human history itself? The Senegambian stone circles stand not only as monuments of stone but as open questions, inviting us to look beyond the surface and imagine the depths of human experience they commemorate. What truths remain buried beneath the soil? What secrets linger, waiting for the patient hand of discovery to bring them into the light? As dusk falls over the grassy plains, the stones cast long shadows that mingle with the fading light, an eternal interplay of presence and mystery. The story of these circles is far from complete, their silence a profound invitation to listen, to explore, and to wonder what still lies hidden in the heart of Senegambia's ancient earth. From the sunlit plains of Senegambia, where ancient stones stand as quiet markers of human memory, our path now leads us to the rugged landscapes of southern Spain. Here, nestled beneath the jagged peaks of the Sierra de Antequera, lies the Dolmen of Menga, one of Europe's most extraordinary megalithic monuments. A silent colossus of stone, it invites us to pause and consider the lives of those who, some 5,000 years ago, endeavored to shape the earth itself into a place of meaning, ritual, and remembrance. The Dolmen of Menga rises unexpectedly from the terrain, a monumental chamber tomb constructed from colossal slabs of limestone and granite. Its imposing entrance, framed by two massive vertical stones supporting an enormous horizontal capstone, beckons the visitor into a space where the past feels palpable, almost within reach. Measuring some 27 meters in length, 6 meters wide, and soaring nearly 4 meters high, Menga's scale is staggering, rivaling some of the great ancient structures across the globe. Yet, unlike the pyramids or the temples of Egypt, here there are no grand carvings or elaborate ornamentation. Instead, the architecture speaks in the raw, unyielding language of stone. As we step closer, the sheer magnitude of the dolmen's construction demands attention. The massive capstone, estimated to weigh around 180 tons, must have required an extraordinary feat of collective human effort and ingenuity to raise into place, long before the age of the wheel or metal tools. What drove these prehistoric builders to undertake such an endeavor? Was it simply to honor the dead? Or was there a deeper spiritual or cosmological purpose behind this monumental tomb? Archaeological excavations within Menga have revealed its primary function as a collective burial site, containing the remains of dozens of individuals alongside various grave goods, ceramics, flint tools, and ornaments, suggesting complex funerary rituals. But what makes Menga particularly fascinating is its unique alignment. Unlike many other European megaliths oriented towards the rising sun or solstices, Menga's axis points directly to a nearby natural feature, the summit of the Peña de los Enamorados, or Lover's Rock. This imposing mountain peak, with its distinctive silhouette, holds its own place in local legend and possibly spiritual significance. This unusual alignment raises questions. Why orient such a monumental structure not towards the heavens, but toward the earth itself? Some scholars propose that the mountain was considered sacred, a symbol of fertility, ancestral presence, or mythic importance. Could Menga's builders have been creating a tangible link between the tomb and this powerful natural landmark, embedding their cosmology into the very landscape. Further mysteries emerge in the dolmen's construction techniques. The enormous stones were quarried and transported from locations several kilometers away, a task requiring sophisticated knowledge of physics, coordination, and social organization. The absence of clear evidence about the exact methods used leaves room for speculation. Did they employ wooden rollers, earthen ramps, or sheer human muscle alone? What kind of societal structure could mobilize such a massive workforce? And for what shared purpose? The sheer silence inside Menga's burial chamber adds to its enigmatic aura. The cool, dim interior, illuminated only by narrow shafts of daylight filtering through the entrance, creates an atmosphere of solemnity and reverence. Was this space designed to evoke a connection between the living and the dead, or between humanity and the divine? And what role might sound, shadow, and light have played in ancient ceremonies conducted here? Local folklore enriches the dolmen's mystery. Tales speak of enchanted stones, spirits guarding the tomb, and even secret tunnels leading to unseen realms. While these stories resist empirical verification, they underscore the deep cultural imprint that Menga has made across generations, transforming stone into story, monument into myth. More speculative theories occasionally surface, exploring the possibility that Menga and its neighboring dolmens, the Vieira and El Romeral, were components of a broader ritual landscape designed not only for burial, but as a terrestrial calendar or astrological observatory. Some researchers point to subtle alignments with lunar cycles or stellar constellations, suggesting an ancient knowledge of astronomy encoded in stone. Could these massive monuments be part of a prehistoric system that mapped the cosmos onto the Earth? Other fringe ideas ponder whether such monumental construction required assistance beyond known prehistoric technology. While mainstream archaeology remains cautious, such hypotheses reflect the enduring human fascination with these structures and the limits of our understanding about how early societies interacted with their environment and their dead. As the sun sets behind the serrated peaks of the Sierra de Antequera, casting long shadows across the dolmen's weathered stones, the monument stands as a profound testament to human will, creativity, and mystery. It challenges us to imagine the lives of those who built it, their beliefs, their fears, and their hopes. What truths remain buried beneath Menga's stones, still hidden beneath layers of soil, silence, and time? The dolmen of Menga invites us to pause and listen to the whispers of the past, urging us to consider not only the feats of ancient engineering, but also the intangible human spirit that carved meaning into the landscape. What secrets lie still locked within this colossal tomb? And how much of its story is yet to be discovered, waiting patiently in the shadow of the mountains? From the sun-baked stones of Senegambia and the monumental dolmens of southern Spain, our journey now carries us thousands of miles across the globe to the high Andean plateaus of Peru. Here, amid a rugged landscape sculpted by soaring peaks and rushing rivers, rests Chavín de Huántar, a sprawling archaeological complex that stands as one of the earliest and most enigmatic centers of ancient South American civilization. Its labyrinthine stone terraces and subterranean galleries whisper of a culture steeped in ritual, art, and cosmic symbolism, an enduring puzzle that continues to captivate scholars and travelers alike. Approaching Chavín de Huántar, one is struck first by the imposing stone architecture, massive walls of finely carved granite blocks arranged with precision, forming terraces, plazas, and platforms that climb the hillside. At the heart of the site stands the old temple, a sprawling structure unlike any other in pre-Columbian America. Its intricate stone facades are carved with an astonishing array of motifs, fanged felines, serpents, and human-animal hybrids, rendered with a stylized, almost hypnotic intensity. These images seem alive, their twisting forms and deeply incised lines pulsating with symbolic meaning. Beneath the temple, a labyrinth of narrow tunnels and galleries extends underground. These passageways, once echoing with the footsteps of priests and pilgrims, now lie silent but continue to evoke a sense of mystery. Within these subterranean chambers, archaeologists have discovered sophisticated drainage systems and carved stone galleries designed with exceptional acoustic properties. Certain spots within the tunnels amplify sound, creating eerie reverberations that may have enhanced ritual ceremonies. Dating back to roughly 900 BCE, Chavín de Huántar was a cultural and religious hub that wielded influence across much of the central Andes. The civilization that built it is credited with pioneering artistic styles and religious concepts that would shape Andean culture for centuries. Yet, despite decades of study, many aspects of Chavín remain unresolved. Who exactly were its builders? What was the nature of their belief system? And how did this seemingly remote mountain site come to exert such widespread power? The function of Chavín's architecture itself invites reflection. Was the old temple primarily a place of worship, a political center, or a site for initiation rites? The presence of ritual paraphernalia, including stone stelae adorned with intricate iconography and carefully crafted ceramics, suggests a complex spiritual life. Many scholars interpret the site as a pilgrimage destination, where elites and commoners alike sought communion with powerful deities embodied in the temple's stone carvings. Among the most enigmatic features is the so-called lanzón, a towering granite monolith carved into the form of a mythical figure that combines human, jaguar, snake, and bird attributes. Positioned deep within the temple's interior, the lanzón appears to have served as a cult object, central to the religious rituals conducted there. Its iconography remains open to interpretation, provoking questions about how the Chavín perceived the divine and the natural world. The remarkable acoustics of the underground galleries add another dimension to the mystery. Sounds made in certain chambers transform dramatically, creating a haunting effect that may have been deliberately engineered. Could these auditory illusions have been part of ritual performances designed to evoke altered states of consciousness or communicate with otherworldly forces? Such possibilities hint at a sophisticated understanding of architecture, psychology, and spirituality. Yet, Chavín de Huántar also presents paradoxes. Unlike many ancient civilizations, it left behind no written language deciphered to date, no clear records explaining its customs or hierarchies. The meaning behind its striking iconography remains partially obscured, open to multiple readings that reflect the complexity of ancient Andean thought. Did Chavín's influence spread primarily through religious networks, political alliances, or economic power? And what led to its eventual decline around 200 BCE? Speculative theories occasionally emerge to fill these gaps. Some suggest that Chavín functioned as a center of shamanistic activity, where ritual specialists used psychoactive plants, common in Andean cultures, to induce visions and communicate with spirits. Others propose that the temple's design encodes astronomical knowledge or represents a cosmic map reflecting the Andean worldview. Could the interplay of light, sound, and stone have been intended to symbolize the union of earth and sky, life and death? The complexity of Chavín's art and architecture continues to inspire new interpretations. For instance, recent research highlights the presence of feline and serpent imagery as representing dual forces, power and fertility, chaos and order, suggesting a rich symbolic vocabulary that transcends simple explanations. But how much of this symbolism can be accurately reconstructed without direct testimonies from the culture itself? Walking through the remains of Chavín de Huántar today, one senses an enduring presence, a civilization both distant and profoundly human. The weathered stones, the quiet tunnels, the enigmatic carvings all seem to speak across time, inviting us to contemplate questions of faith, identity, and the human desire to connect with the sacred. What truths lie hidden beneath these stones, still buried beneath layers of earth and history? How might future discoveries deepen our understanding of Chavín's mysteries? And what can this ancient temple teach us about the broader story of human civilization, its dreams, its fears, and its enduring search for meaning? The answers remain elusive, but the invitation is clear: to listen closely, to look deeper, and to remain open to the mysteries that continue to echo through the stone corridors of Chavín de Huántar. From the highlands of ancient Peru, where stone and spirit intertwine in the labyrinthine temple of Chavín de Huántar, our journey now turns northward to the heartland of what would one day become the United States. Here, amidst the fertile floodplains near the meeting of the Mississippi and Missouri rivers, lie the vast earthworks of Cahokia, the largest pre-Columbian settlement north of Mexico and one of North America's most enigmatic archaeological sites. The first encounter with Cahokia is striking. Vast earthen mounds rise from the landscape like sleeping giants, their grassy slopes shimmering under the expansive Midwestern sky. Among them, Monk's Mound dominates, an immense platform rising nearly 30 meters high, its base covering more than 14 acres, larger at its base than the Great Pyramid of Giza. This colossal structure, built from millions of cubic feet of earth, remains a testament to the ingenuity and determination of the Mississippian culture that flourished here between roughly 1050 and 1350 CE. As one wanders the site, the scale of Cahokia's urban planning becomes apparent. Around 120 mounds once dotted the area, serving a variety of purposes: ceremonial centers, elite residences, burial sites, and defensive structures. The settlement may have housed as many as 20,000 inhabitants at its peak, making it one of the most populous cities of its time on the continent. Yet unlike stone-built cities elsewhere in the world, Cahokia's primary architecture was earthen, shaped by human hands through repetitive labor and collective effort. What drives the mystery of Cahokia is not just its size, but the complexity of its social and spiritual life encoded in the mounds and artifacts scattered across the site. The central plaza and mounds suggest a well-organized society with social stratification and religious hierarchy. Among the artifacts found are intricately crafted pottery, copper ornaments, and carved stone effigies, each revealing glimpses into the ceremonial and daily lives of Cahokia's people. One of the most puzzling features is the so-called woodhenge, a circular arrangement of massive wooden posts that may have functioned as a solar calendar. The post's precise alignment with the solstices hints at a sophisticated astronomical understanding, enabling the inhabitants to mark seasonal cycles vital for agriculture and ritual. How did the Mississippians develop such knowledge? And how central was cosmology to their urban design and social order? Burials at Cahokia further deepen the intrigue. Among the many graves uncovered is the ruler's tomb, an elaborately constructed burial chamber containing the remains of a high-status individual surrounded by a rich assemblage of artifacts, including beads, copper plates, and finely crafted tools. The symbolic significance of these grave goods speaks to a culture deeply invested in spiritual concepts of power, death, and the afterlife. Yet, Cahokia's story is incomplete. The reasons for its eventual decline and abandonment around the 14th century remain debated. Environmental factors such as flooding or resource depletion, social unrest, or shifting trade routes might have played a role, but no single explanation fully accounts for the sudden dissolution of such a thriving urban center. Beyond these established facts, Cahokia beckons with unanswered questions. What languages were spoken here? How did the Mississippian worldview shape their relationship to the land and the cosmos? And what myths and oral traditions surrounded the mounds, now silent, but once vibrant with ritual and song? Some speculative interpretations suggest that Cahokia was not merely a political or economic hub, but a sacred landscape, where earth and sky, life and death were woven into a single cosmic vision. The mounds, towering in the flat landscape, might have symbolized sacred mountains or the axis mundi, the world's center linking heavens and underworld. Could the layout itself have encoded spiritual journeys or astronomical cycles still lost to us? More fringe ideas have suggested mysterious connections between Cahokia and distant cultures, proposing transoceanic contacts or ancient knowledge shared across continents. While these claims remain controversial and unsupported by mainstream archaeology, they highlight the enduring fascination Cahokia inspires, a place that challenges assumptions about pre-Columbian North America's complexity and connectedness. Today, as the sun sets over the grassy mounds, casting long shadows across the Mississippi floodplain, Cahokia invites reflection on the passage of time and the resilience of human endeavor. These earthen giants, though silent, carry whispers of a society that thrived long before European contact, whose achievements remind us of humanity's boundless capacity for culture, knowledge, and mystery. What lies yet undiscovered beneath the soil, beneath the surface of our understanding? How might future generations piece together the full tapestry of Cahokia's story? The mounds stand as monuments not only to a lost city, but to the profound enigmas still waiting to be uncovered beneath their grassy crowns. From the earthen mounds of Cahokia, our path now curves toward the sun-soaked hills of central Italy, where the ancient Etruscan civilization once flourished in a landscape rich with fertile valleys, dense forests, and rugged coastline. The Etruscans, an enigmatic people whose culture blossomed between roughly the 9th and 1st centuries BCE, left behind a legacy of stone tombs, intricately carved temples, and vibrant city-states whose mysteries continue to captivate scholars and visitors alike. Imagine entering an Etruscan necropolis at dawn, the mist lingering softly over fields of rolling earth, punctuated by clusters of stone burial mounds and underground tombs carved deep into the tufa rock. The tomb entrances, often elaborately decorated with frescoes, sculptures, and inscriptions in a language only partially understood, evoke a sense of reverence and mystery. These resting places hint at a society deeply invested in the afterlife, yet the beliefs underpinning their funerary customs remain partially obscured by the passage of time. Etruscan cities, such as Veii, Tarquinia, and Cerveteri, once thrived with bustling marketplaces, temples, and workshops. Their architecture combined indigenous Italic traditions with influences from Greece, Phoenicia, and beyond, yet retained a distinct character. The Etruscans excelled in metallurgy, sculpture, and pottery, crafting art that pulses with life, movement, and vivid color. However, the lack of extensive written records in their native tongue has left many questions unanswered. Who were the Etruscans before they emerged in history? Where did they originate? And what was the nature of their religious and social systems? The Etruscan language, a linguistic isolate, provides tantalizing but fragmentary clues. Written mainly on funerary urns and tomb walls, its inscriptions resist full translation, keeping much of the culture's voice silent. This silence leaves room for debate about their origins, whether they migrated from the Near East, developed indigenously in Italy, or emerged from a complex interplay of migrations and cultural exchanges. Ancient historians like Herodotus offered theories, yet modern research has yet to definitively resolve these puzzles. Among the most striking legacies of the Etruscans are their subterranean necropolises, vast cities of the dead stretching beneath the earth. Within these tombs, vibrant frescoes depict banquets, dances, and mythic scenes, revealing glimpses of a worldview that celebrated life even beyond death. These images raise profound questions. What did the Etruscans believe about the afterlife? How did they perceive the journey of the soul? And what sacred rites did these painted chambers host? The Etruscans also shaped the emerging Roman culture, passing on innovations in religion, engineering, and governance, yet much of their identity was absorbed and overwritten in the centuries following Rome's ascendancy. This absorption deepens the mystery. How much of the Etruscan legacy survives, concealed beneath Roman triumphs and modern assumptions? Archaeological finds deepen this intrigue. Among them are richly adorned tombs, intricate bronze mirrors etched with enigmatic scenes, and elaborate temples whose exact functions remain uncertain. The Temple of the Capitoline Triad at Veii, for example, showcases architectural techniques and decorative motifs that suggest a complex religious practice, yet the full pantheon and rituals are still partly shrouded in ambiguity. Speculative theories surround the Etruscans' religious symbolism and social structure. Some propose that their elaborate funerary practices reflect a belief in a powerful underworld goddess, perhaps linked to fertility and regeneration. Others see in their art and mythology echoes of shamanistic or mystical traditions. Could the Etruscans have been custodians of secret knowledge, guardians of rites lost to time? Their remarkable craftsmanship and the mysterious scripts seem to hint at a culture with layers still to be uncovered. Questions also persist about their sudden decline. By the late 1st century BCE, the Etruscan cities had been largely assimilated into Roman territory. Was this downfall solely the result of military conquest? Or did internal social and economic factors play a role? And how did the erosion of their language and culture affect the preservation of their history? As we walk the silent tombs and ruins surrounded by the gentle Tuscan hills, the Etruscans invite us to consider the interplay between presence and absence, knowledge and mystery. What stories remain etched beneath the layers of earth and stone? How might ongoing discoveries in tombs, inscriptions, and artifacts reshape our understanding? The Etruscans stand as a profound reminder that history often conceals as much as it reveals. Cultures rise and fall, voices fade, yet their monuments endure, inviting us to listen carefully and keep searching. What secrets linger still beneath the Italian soil? And how many more truths await discovery in the twilight between past and present? From the rugged hills and ancient tombs of the Etruscans, our journey flows eastward across the Mediterranean Sea to the sunlit island of Crete, where the Minoan civilization once flourished in the Bronze Age. Nestled amidst olive groves and the rugged Cretan landscape, the ruins of sprawling palaces and vibrant frescoes whisper of a sophisticated culture whose mysteries still ripple through the sands of time. Approaching the famed Palace of Knossos, the largest and most elaborate Minoan complex, one is struck by the sheer scale and complexity of the site. Its labyrinthine corridors, multi-storied buildings, and vibrant wall paintings suggest a society rich in artistry and ceremony. The palace sprawls across a vast area, constructed with finely cut ashlar blocks and featuring advanced architectural innovations, light wells, drainage systems, and carefully planned living spaces that speak to remarkable engineering skill. The Minoans, flourishing from approximately 2700 to 1450 BCE, were pioneers of early European civilization. Their maritime trade networks extended throughout the Aegean and beyond, making Crete a hub of economic and cultural exchange. Yet, despite their influence, much about the Minoan world remains elusive. They left behind no known written histories, only enigmatic scripts such as Linear A, which remains undeciphered. This silence invites both fascination and speculation. The palace frescoes, bursting with color and movement, depict scenes of nature, religious rituals, and athletic events. Dolphins leaping from cerulean waves, dancers adorned with flowing robes, sacred bulls intertwined in ritual dance. These vivid images evoke a spirituality closely connected to the cycles of nature, fertility, and perhaps a powerful pantheon of goddesses and gods. Yet, what precisely these rituals entailed, and how religion permeated daily life, is only partially understood. The iconic bull, repeated across Minoan art and architecture, poses compelling questions. Was the bull a symbol of strength and fertility, or did it represent a deity itself? The so-called labyrinth, long associated with the myth of the Minotaur, echoes the palace's complex layout, but to what extent this myth reflects historical reality is debated. Did the Minoans actually build a labyrinthine maze to imprison a mythical creature, or is the labyrinth a metaphor for the intricate social and spiritual fabric of their culture? The advanced engineering of the palaces also hints at a society deeply invested in controlling its environment. Sophisticated water management systems, including aqueducts and drainage, reveal a keen understanding of urban planning and public health. How did such knowledge develop, and what role did it play in maintaining the city's prosperity and religious life? The sudden decline of the Minoan civilization around 1450 BCE remains one of the great archaeological mysteries. Was it the cataclysmic eruption of the nearby Thera volcano that destabilized the island? Or did foreign invasion and internal strife play decisive roles? The evidence is complex and contradictory, with signs of destruction layered beneath rebuilding efforts. How did the Minoans respond to crisis, and what ultimately led to their disappearance? Speculative theories abound. Some propose that the Minoans were an early matriarchal society, ruled by priestesses whose power rivaled kings. Others suggest that their religious rites may have involved ecstatic dances, sacred rites, or even the use of psychoactive plants to access altered states. Could the palace itself be a symbolic center of the cosmos, a reflection of mythic geography encoded in stone and fresco? Moreover, the undeciphered linear A script tantalizes researchers. What stories, laws, or knowledge might it contain locked away for millennia? As archaeologists continue their work, new discoveries occasionally emerge: a new chamber, a previously unseen fresco, offering fresh glimpses into this vanished world. Yet each discovery seems only to deepen the mystery. Walking among the columns and mosaics, it is easy to imagine the hum of a vibrant city, alive with merchants, priests, artisans, and rulers. The walls seem to hold secrets of festivals, power struggles, and spiritual journeys, stories both ordinary and extraordinary. How much of the Minoan story remains hidden beneath layers of earth and myth? The Minoan civilization stands as a testament to human creativity and complexity, a culture both brilliant and inscrutable. Their legacy challenges us to look beyond the visible, to listen closely to the silent stones and vibrant colors that survive, and to remain open to the unfolding mystery of a world that shaped the roots of European civilization. What truths still lie buried beneath Crete's sunlit hills? And how might future discoveries illuminate the shadows cast by the labyrinth of time? Beneath the thin, crisp air of the Andean highlands, just a few kilometers from the shores of the vast Lake Titicaca, lies Tiwanaku, an ancient city of stone and shadow, a place where earth and sky meet in a landscape both stark and sublime. As we step onto the cracked and weathered stones of this sprawling archaeological site, we find ourselves surrounded by the echoes of a civilization whose mastery over architecture, astronomy, and spirituality still puzzles scholars and inspires wonder. Tiwanaku rises out of the Altiplano's barren plains, like a monumental testament to a people who lived over a millennium ago in one of the most challenging environments on Earth, more than 3,800 meters above sea level. The vast complex stretches across roughly 4 square kilometers, where large stone platforms, intricately carved gateways, and enormous monoliths stand amid open plazas, inviting contemplation of their purpose and meaning. Here, every stone seems deliberate, placed with precision and imbued with significance beyond the immediately visible. The most famous of these structures is the Gateway of the Sun, an imposing carved archway hewn from a single block of andesite. Its facade is adorned with enigmatic figures, the most prominent a winged deity surrounded by rows of smaller beings etched with geometric exactitude. This relief, deeply symbolic and rich in iconography, has been studied extensively, yet its full meaning remains elusive. Was it a calendar, a cosmic map, or a spiritual portal linking the earthly realm with the divine? The figures themselves blend human and supernatural elements, provoking endless interpretations. Nearby stand the massive, carefully dressed stone blocks that make up the Akapana Pyramid and the Kalasasya platform, structures that showcase the Tiwanaku builders' unparalleled skill in stone masonry. The stones fit together so tightly that even a knife blade cannot slip between them, a feat that continues to astonish modern engineers. How did the Tiwanaku achieve such precision with the tools available to them? What knowledge guided their selection, shaping, and placement of stones so enduring and exact? Excavations reveal that Tiwanaku was not only a political and religious center, but also a place of pilgrimage and ritual, drawing people from across the Andean region. Around the site, hundreds of ritual offerings have been found: ceramics, textiles, and intricate metalwork, indicating a rich cultural and spiritual life. The art and artifacts uncovered show a sophisticated society with complex cosmologies and a deep connection to the cycles of nature, especially the rhythms of the sun and moon. Astronomical alignments further deepen Tiwanaku's mysteries. Some researchers argue that the layout of the site aligns with celestial events such as solstices and equinoxes, suggesting a calendar or observatory function. Could the city itself have been designed as a terrestrial reflection of the heavens, a cosmic model integrating land, sky, and spirit? The idea that architecture could serve as a bridge between human and cosmic orders invites us to ponder the worldview of the Tiwanaku people in profound ways. Yet, much about Tiwanaku remains undeciphered. The civilization flourished from around 300 to 1000 CE, but how and why it declined remains a subject of debate. Was it climate change, social upheaval, or external invasion that led to the city's abandonment? And what became of its people, who left behind such grand monuments but no written records? The absence of a deciphered script leaves a silence that archaeology strives to fill, piece by piece. Speculative theories add layers to this enigma. Some propose that Tiwanaku was the center of an extensive empire, spreading cultural and religious influence across much of the Andean region. Others suggest the site was a hub of shamanistic practice, where altered states of consciousness were sought through ritual and plant medicines to commune with other realms. Could the precise stonework and symbolic carvings have been part of complex ceremonies designed to harness spiritual energy? And what role might the nearby Lake Titicaca, itself steeped in myth, have played in the city's cosmology? More fringe ideas speculate on the possibility of lost ancient technologies or knowledge, pointing to the extraordinary engineering and astronomical sophistication of Tiwanaku as evidence. While mainstream archaeology remains cautious, these hypotheses highlight the profound human curiosity sparked by this mysterious site. Walking among the ruins, one senses a palpable tension between the tangible and the intangible, between what is known and what remains hidden. Tiwanaku's stones stand not only as silent witnesses to a distant past, but as open questions, inviting us to look deeper, to question how human ingenuity, spirituality, and environment converge to create a city that still defies easy understanding. What secrets linger beneath these stones, waiting to be uncovered? How might new discoveries reshape our understanding of Tiwanaku and the ancient world it inhabited? The mysteries here are far from resolved, offering a timeless invitation to explore the delicate boundary between history and legend, stone and spirit. Beneath the endless blue skies of the Mexican basin, where the arid land stretches toward distant mountains, lies Teotihuacan, an ancient city of stone and shadow whose grandeur still resonates across the centuries. Walking along the broad Avenue of the Dead, flanked by towering pyramids and vast platforms, one is immediately struck by the immensity and meticulous planning of this vast metropolis, a place where mystery and monumentality intertwine. Teotihuacan, whose name means the place where the gods were created, was once the heart of one of the largest cities in the ancient world, flourishing between approximately 100 BCE and 550 CE. At its peak, it is believed to have housed more than 100,000 inhabitants, a bustling urban center unlike anything else in pre-Columbian America. The city's layout reveals a precise and sophisticated grid system, oriented 15 degrees east of north, suggesting careful astronomical and cosmological considerations. Dominating the cityscape are the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon, monumental structures that soar skyward, their massive stone steps rising in tiers to meet the heavens. The Pyramid of the Sun, the third largest pyramid in the world, remains a towering enigma, its purpose still debated. Was it a temple dedicated to a sun deity, a tomb, or an astronomical observatory? Inside its core, tunnels and chambers hint at ritual significance, but much remains concealed beneath layers of earth and stone. The Avenue of the Dead stretches for more than 2 kilometers, lined with smaller pyramids, plazas, and residential compounds. This grand thoroughfare was more than a mere street. It was the spine of the city, a ceremonial and political artery pulsating with the rhythms of ancient life. Alongside it, the Ciudadela complex holds the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, whose intricately carved facade features repeating serpent motifs intertwined with human faces, evoking deep mythological symbolism. Teotihuacan's cultural reach extended far beyond its walls. Artifacts bearing its distinctive style have been found across Mesoamerica, suggesting it was not just a city, but the center of a widespread influence, political, religious, and economic. Yet, the identity of its founders remains elusive. The original inhabitants left behind no decipherable written records, and the city was mysteriously abandoned centuries before the rise of the Aztecs, who later revered the site as sacred. Archaeological excavations reveal a complex society with social stratification, evident in the varying sizes and decorations of residential compounds. Murals and artifacts depict gods, rituals, and everyday life, offering glimpses into their worldview. The discovery of sacrificial burials and ritual offerings suggests a culture deeply engaged in religious ceremonies, possibly including human sacrifice. Yet, many questions linger. The sudden decline of Teotihuacan around the 6th century CE remains a puzzle. Was it due to internal strife, environmental change, economic collapse, or invasion? The evidence is ambiguous, revealing signs of destruction and abandonment, but no definitive cause. How did such a powerful city fall into silence, its grand structures left to weather the passing centuries? Speculative theories add further layers to this enigma. Some scholars propose that Teotihuacan functioned as a religious pilgrimage center, drawing visitors from across the region to participate in rituals tied to cycles of the sun and cosmos. Others suggest that the city's design encoded sophisticated astronomical knowledge, with alignments marking solstices and equinoxes, linking earthly construction with celestial phenomena. More fringe ideas consider whether Teotihuacan's sudden disappearance was linked to cataclysmic events, volcanic eruptions, seismic activity, or climatic shifts that disrupted the delicate balance sustaining urban life. Could there have been political upheavals or revolutions that led to internal collapse? The truth remains buried beneath layers of soil and silence. The iconography of the Feathered Serpent Temple, with its intricate carvings and repeated motifs, invites contemplation of the myths and beliefs that shaped Teotihuacan's spiritual life. Were these images merely symbolic, or did they represent deities whose influence governed not only religious rites, but also social order? How did the city's inhabitants understand their place in the universe, and how was this reflected in their monumental architecture? As twilight descends over the sprawling ruins, shadows stretch long across the worn stones. The silence is heavy yet inviting, a reminder that the stories of Teotihuacan are still unfolding. What remains buried beneath the earth? What echoes of human experience lie locked within its stones, waiting patiently for discovery? Teotihuacan stands as both a monument to human ambition and a puzzle of profound mystery. A city whose grandeur speaks of achievement, but whose secrets remain tantalizingly just beyond our grasp. What truths about this ancient metropolis might yet emerge? And how will they reshape our understanding of the civilizations that rose and fell beneath the Mexican sun? In the wake of Teotihuacan's sprawling stones and silent avenues, our journey gently turns toward the dense jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula, where the ruins of Chichén Itzá rise from the tropical canopy, a monumental city that once thrummed with power, ritual, and mystery. Here, amidst the humidity and the whispering leaves, the remnants of a civilization unfold like a stone tapestry woven with astronomical precision, religious fervor, and cultural complexity. Chichén Itzá, meaning at the mouth of the well of the Itzá, occupies a vast expanse dotted with grand temples, soaring pyramids, ball courts, and colonnaded halls. Its most iconic structure, El Castillo, or the Temple of Kukulkan, dominates the site with a regal presence. This stepped pyramid, with its 9 terraces and 4 staircases each of 91 steps, culminates in a temple at the summit, totaling 365 steps, the precise count of days in a solar year. The sheer architectural ingenuity here is undeniable, inviting us to ponder the intimate connection the Maya forged between stone, sky, and calendar. As the sun arcs across the sky, the pyramid reveals one of its most mesmerizing secrets. During the equinoxes, the play of light and shadow along the staircase creates the illusion of a serpent descending the pyramid's face, a stone manifestation of Kukulkan, the feathered serpent deity. This extraordinary spectacle underscores the Maya's profound understanding of astronomy and symbolism. But what other layers of meaning lie hidden within the pyramid's design, waiting to be unearthed? The Great Ball Court nearby, the largest in Mesoamerica, offers another window into Chichén Itzá's complex society. The stone rings high above the court recall a game that was more than sport. It was a ritual laden with spiritual significance, possibly linked to cosmic cycles, life, and death. The echoes of ancient players and spectators seem to linger here, prompting us to consider how ceremony, competition, and community intertwined in Maya life. El Caracol, the observatory, with its rounded tower perched atop a rectangular platform, speaks to Chichén Itzá's role as a center of astronomical study. Its windows align with the movements of Venus and other celestial bodies, emphasizing the civilization's pursuit of celestial knowledge to regulate agricultural cycles, ritual calendars, and political authority. What secrets might the stars have whispered to the priests who climbed its stairs? And how did the rhythms of the cosmos shape the rhythms of their lives? Yet, Chichén Itzá is not merely a monument to intellectual achievement. It is a site scarred by evidence of social conflict and transformation. Archaeological discoveries point to a city that witnessed periods of upheaval, layers of construction built over older structures, violent marks on human remains, and shifting styles suggest a dynamic, sometimes turbulent history. Who were the city's inhabitants during these transitions? How did external influences mingle with indigenous traditions to shape its evolution? The origin and decline of Chichén Itzá continue to puzzle scholars. Once a dominant regional power from roughly 600 to 1200 CE, it eventually faded, its population dispersing or assimilating into emerging polities. Was the decline triggered by drought, war, political instability, or a combination of these? And what happened to the intricate knowledge embedded in its architecture and rituals? Speculative theories invite us deeper into the enigma. Some suggest that Chichén Itzá served as a unifying center for various Maya groups, blending traditions and political alliances through ritual spectacle and shared religious practice. Others propose more esoteric interpretations. Was the serpent shadow phenomenon a deliberate symbol of cyclical renewal or even a coded message from the priesthood? Could the city's layout itself encode mythic geography or cosmological maps that we have yet to fully decode? More fringe hypotheses touch on the possibility of Chichén Itzá's connection to lost knowledge or ancient wisdom traditions, hinting at ritual practices designed to alter consciousness or communicate with other realms. While such ideas remain speculative, they underscore the profound fascination the site inspires and the many questions that remain unanswered. Walking through the leafy avenues and towering plazas of Chichén Itzá today, one senses a convergence of earth and sky, past and present, known and unknown. The stones, worn by centuries of rain and sun, still pulse with the legacy of human ambition, spirituality, and mystery. What truths remain concealed beneath the temple stones? How might future discoveries illuminate the complex tapestry of belief, power, and knowledge woven here? The shadow of the serpent continues to descend, inviting us to look closely, listen deeply, and ponder the enduring mysteries of this ancient city beneath the jungle canopy. In the rolling green fields of County Meath, Ireland, under skies that shift between gentle mists and soft sunlight, stands Newgrange, a monument both ancient and timeless. From a distance, it appears as a low, grassy mound, modest against the landscape. But as you draw closer, the mound reveals itself to be far more than earth and stone. It is a carefully crafted passage tomb, a silent sentinel of the Neolithic era, built over 5,000 years ago, older even than the Great Pyramids of Egypt and Stonehenge. Newgrange's unassuming exterior belies the complexity within. At its heart lies a narrow stone passage, stretching nearly 19 meters, which leads to a cruciform chamber carved into solid rock. The chamber is surrounded by a ring of massive curbstones, many of which are etched with intricate spirals, zigzags, and lozenges, abstract symbols that resonate with a mysterious beauty, their meaning lost to time. These enigmatic carvings evoke questions that continue to perplex archaeologists and historians. What messages were encoded here? What beliefs and rituals did they serve? Perhaps the most astounding feature of Newgrange is its alignment with the winter solstice sunrise. For a few minutes each year, as dawn breaks on the shortest day, a shaft of sunlight penetrates the narrow entrance passage, illuminating the chamber's innermost recess. This phenomenon is not a mere accident of construction, but the product of precise architectural and astronomical knowledge. The builders designed the monument to capture the sun's light in a ritual dance of shadow and illumination, symbolizing rebirth and renewal in the depths of winter's darkness. How did a society without modern instruments manage such exacting precision? What tools and observations guided their alignment of stone and light? And why was this moment, the turning of the sun, so central to their worldview? Newgrange is part of the Bru Naboine complex, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that includes other passage tombs, each layered with its own mysteries. The scale and sophistication of these monuments suggest a community with rich spiritual beliefs and social organization. Yet, much remains elusive. We know little about the daily lives of the builders or the full extent of their cosmology. The symbols carved into Newgrange's stones add another layer of intrigue. Unlike readable language, these abstract motifs defy easy interpretation. Some scholars propose that they represent cycles of nature, water, life, and death, a symbolic language of existence itself. Others see echoes of shamanic practices, perhaps relating to trance states or spiritual journeys between worlds. The construction methods of Newgrange also invite wonder. Its massive stones, some weighing several tons, were transported and precisely positioned using methods that remain debated. How did a Neolithic community coordinate such an enormous effort without written records or advanced technology? Was this project a collective spiritual endeavor, binding the community together? More speculative theories explore the possibility that Newgrange served as a ritual site for initiations, a gateway between life and afterlife, or a calendar marking cycles of time. Could the winter solstice illumination have been a moment when the veil between worlds thinned, allowing contact with ancestors or deities? In recent decades, researchers have employed modern techniques, 3D scanning, ground-penetrating radar, and experimental archaeology to probe Newgrange's secrets. Each discovery deepens the mystery rather than resolving it fully. Subsurface surveys suggest there may be hidden chambers or structures yet undiscovered. Could these unknown spaces hold clues to the beliefs and practices of the ancient builders? Walking the mound's grassy slopes today, one senses a profound connection between earth and sky, stone and spirit, past and present. Newgrange stands as a testament to human ingenuity, faith, and the eternal quest to understand our place in the cosmos. What truths lie hidden beneath its stones? How might future generations unravel the layers of meaning encoded in its passageways and symbols? As the winter sun rises, casting its golden light into the ancient chamber, the mystery endures, inviting us to pause, reflect, and wonder at the delicate threads linking humanity across the millennia. Along the windswept plains of Brittany, France, where the salty Atlantic breeze carries whispers of millennia past, stretches one of Europe's most enigmatic and imposing prehistoric landscapes, the Carnac stones. Here, thousands of slender, upright menhirs, standing stones, rise like silent sentinels from the earth, arranged in sweeping rows that curve and extend for nearly 4 kilometers. The scale and precision of this megalithic installation confront visitors with a mystery as vast and intricate as the stones themselves. Carnac's stones vary in size, from modest slabs a meter high to colossal pillars exceeding 6 meters, their weathered surfaces etched by time but still resolutely upright. The rows, often numbering over 1,000 individual stones, march across the fields in parallel alignments, forming patterns that both captivate and confound. Their purpose, construction, and meaning remain subjects of intense study and debate, inviting reflection on the nature of ancient human endeavor and belief. Archaeological consensus dates the Carnac complex to the Neolithic period, roughly between 4,500 and 3,300 BCE, situating it among the earliest monumental stone constructions in the world. The labor and organization required to transport, shape, and erect these stones are remarkable, especially considering the tools and technologies available to prehistoric peoples. How did these communities coordinate such massive efforts, and for what reasons? Various hypotheses have been proposed. Some suggest the alignments functioned as astronomical observatories, designed to mark solstices, equinoxes, or lunar cycles. Could the rows of stones have served as a prehistoric calendar, a way to track celestial rhythms crucial for agricultural societies? Others view Carnac as a sacred landscape, a vast ritual space where spiritual ceremonies connected people to the earth, ancestors, and the cosmos. Yet many questions remain. Unlike other megalithic sites that feature burial chambers or carved symbols, the Carnac stones are largely unadorned, their silent forms offering few direct clues. This absence invites speculation. Were the stones themselves the message, standing as symbolic gateways or monuments? Could they represent ancestral spirits, territorial markers, or a communal memory etched into the land? Intriguing discoveries have emerged over the years. Excavations near the alignments have uncovered burial mounds and stone circles, hinting at a complex ritual landscape beyond the standing stones. The proximity of these sites suggests interconnected functions, perhaps a choreography of death, commemoration, and celestial observation woven into the fabric of daily life. More speculative theories consider the possibility that Carnac was part of a vast network of megalithic sites across Europe, sharing knowledge and traditions over great distances. Could these alignments have been communication channels, their positioning encoding information or serving as markers in an ancient map? How might the prehistoric builders have perceived space, time, and their place in the universe? Some fringe ideas propose that the stones emit subtle energies, or that their arrangement corresponds to lost knowledge about the Earth's magnetic fields or ancient cosmologies. While such claims remain beyond mainstream archaeology, they underscore the enduring human fascination with Carnac and the mysteries it embodies. As one walks among the towering stones, the landscape seems to pulse with a quiet power, a resonance between stone, soil, and sky. The stone's weathered faces bear witness to thousands of years of change, climate shifts, human migrations, and the rise and fall of civilizations. Yet they remain, steadfast and enigmatic. What truths remain buried beneath the Breton soil? How might new technologies, ground-penetrating radar, aerial surveys, or 3D modeling reshape our understanding of Carnac's purpose and construction? The stones stand as a timeless riddle, inviting us to explore not only the prehistoric past, but the depths of human curiosity and connection. In the silence of the stones, the questions linger, offering no easy answers, only the invitation to wonder and listen to the echoes of an ancient world still speaking through the quiet strength of stone. In the gentle, rolling countryside of Wiltshire, England, where the green fields stretch beneath a wide, often cloudy sky, stands Avebury, a monumental testament to the vision and skill of Neolithic builders. Unlike the more famous Stonehenge, which rises as an isolated circle, Avebury sprawls across the landscape, a vast complex of stone circles and earthwork so large it can only be fully appreciated from the air. Here, stone and soil intertwine to form one of the most extraordinary prehistoric sites in Europe, a place whose scale and mystery continue to captivate the imagination. Approaching Avebury, the first impression is one of awe, not only at the size of the stones themselves, but at the deliberate arrangement of massive megaliths encircling a village nestled within. The main stone circle, the largest in Europe, measures nearly 430 meters in diameter and originally held over 100 standing stones, many weighing several tons. These great monoliths are accompanied by two smaller satellite circles, adding complexity to the site's design and purpose. The sheer scale of Avebury suggests a society capable of organizing immense communal effort, a civilization with both the resources and the will to transform the landscape itself. But to what end? What meaning did these stones hold for those who raised them over 4,500 years ago? Archaeologists have long debated Avebury's purpose. Some propose it served as a ceremonial or ritual center, a sacred landscape where social and spiritual life converged. Others see it as an astronomical observatory, aligned with solstices and lunar cycles. Could the positioning of stones mark celestial events, guiding agricultural calendars or religious festivals? The layout's intricate geometry hints at sophisticated knowledge, yet the full rationale remains elusive. Within the circle's embrace lies a village that has lived in the shadow of these stones for centuries, a rare example of a prehistoric monument integrated with a living community. This coexistence invites questions about how the meaning of Avebury evolved over time. Did the stone's significance endure unchanged, or did new generations reinterpret their power and purpose? The stones themselves are blank canvases, lacking the carvings or inscriptions found at other megalithic sites. Their silent, weathered faces evoke an elemental presence, a direct connection to the earth and the past. How were these massive blocks transported and erected with the limited technology of the Neolithic era? What rituals or ceremonies accompanied their raising? More speculative theories explore the possibility that Avebury's layout encodes complex cosmological maps or ancient mythologies, a stone script etched across the landscape. Some researchers have suggested that the circles were part of a larger network of sacred sites, connected by alignments and pathways across prehistoric Britain. Could Avebury have functioned as a nodal point in a vast spiritual geography, a place where earth energies were concentrated or harnessed? Others propose more enigmatic ideas. Did the builders possess knowledge lost to history? Might the stones have been positioned to channel unseen forces, or to mark gateways between worlds, places where the veil between human and spirit realms thinned? While such theories remain beyond mainstream consensus, they underscore the enduring fascination Avebury holds. Excavations continue to reveal layers beneath the surface, ancient ditches, buried stones, and artifacts that hint at complex social and ritual practices. The discovery of human remains, animal bones, and pottery within and around the site speaks to ceremonies of life and death, to a community deeply intertwined with the rhythms of nature and the cosmos. Walking the paths around Avebury today, one is enveloped by a profound sense of history and mystery. The stones, weathered by millennia, stand in quiet vigil over a landscape shaped by human hands and imagination. Their presence raises enduring questions about the lives, beliefs, and ambitions of those who lived long before written history. What stories remain hidden beneath the earth and stone? How might future discoveries illuminate the deeper meanings of Avebury's vast circles? The monument invites us to ponder not only the achievements of ancient builders, but the mysteries of human connection to place, time, and the cosmos, questions as vital now as they were thousands of years ago. On the sun-drenched archipelago of Malta, nestled between the endless expanse of the Mediterranean Sea and the fertile land, stand some of the oldest and most enigmatic megalithic structures in the world, the megalithic temples of Malta. These ancient stone complexes, scattered across the islands, rise like echoes from a distant time, their rough-hewn blocks weathered by millennia of sun, wind, and sea spray. To the modern eye, they might seem modest in scale compared to some continental monuments, yet their intricate designs and profound antiquity mark them as extraordinary feats of prehistoric architecture and spiritual expression. Approaching sites like Hagar-Cheam, Monajdra, and Tarxian, one is struck by the organic curves and flowing forms carved into limestone slabs that form temples dating back as far as 3600 BCE, making them older than the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge. The temple complexes, composed of carefully fitted megaliths arranged in semicircular and oval chambers, reveal a sophisticated understanding of space, symmetry, and symbolism. The craftsmanship of the builders is evident in the corbelled ceilings, carved altars, and intricately sculpted figurines found amid the ruins. The architecture suggests these temples were not merely shelters or meeting places, but sacred spaces, perhaps sanctuaries dedicated to fertility, life cycles, or celestial events. The prevalence of goddess figurines and symbolic motifs, spirals, concentric circles, and animal shapes, has led many to associate these sites with ancient fertility cults, where the mysteries of birth, death, and renewal were celebrated in ritual. One of the most intriguing aspects is the alignment of the temples with the movements of the sun and the changing seasons. At Monajdra, for example, the positioning of the southern temple allows sunlight to flood the inner sanctum during the equinoxes, suggesting an early form of astronomical observation. Such alignments raise questions about how the temple builders understood the cosmos, time, and their relationship to the natural world. The complexity and scale of the temples imply a highly organized society capable of mobilizing labor and resources over centuries. But who were these builders? How did they develop such architectural and artistic sophistication in a relatively isolated island environment? The absence of written records leaves these questions open, inviting careful excavation and interpretation. Artifacts recovered from the temples, ceramics, tools, and statuettes paint a picture of a community deeply connected to ritual practice. Yet the precise nature of these rituals remains elusive. Were they communal ceremonies, initiations, or rites of passage? Did the temples serve as burial sites or places of healing? The lack of direct evidence fuels ongoing debate. Speculative theories venture further into the unknown. Some propose that the temples functioned as centers of shamanic practice, where altered states of consciousness facilitated communication with otherworldly realms. Others suggest that the megaliths themselves held energetic properties, perhaps acting as conduits of Earth's subtle forces. How might these ancient people have perceived the interplay between the physical and spiritual worlds? More fringe ideas question whether the architectural precision and symbolic complexity of the temples point to lost ancient knowledge or advanced prehistoric science. Could these temples be repositories of cosmic wisdom encoded in stone? While such ideas remain outside mainstream archaeology, they echo the enduring human fascination with Malta's stone sanctuaries. Walking among the ruins today, one senses a powerful, almost tangible connection to the distant past. The stones, etched by time yet resolute, stand witness to cycles of human life: birth, growth, death, and renewal, woven into the fabric of these sacred spaces. They call us to reflect on the nature of belief, community, and the search for meaning. What secrets remain buried beneath Malta's limestone soil? How might future discoveries shed light on the lives and minds of those who raised these temples? The mysteries of Malta's megalithic wonders endure, an open invitation to explore, question, and marvel at the depth of human creativity and spirit carved into the ancient stone. Nestled within the steep terraces of the sacred valley, under the watchful gaze of towering Andean peaks, lies Ollantaytambo, a living archaeological marvel where history and mystery converge in stone. This ancient Inca site, both fortress and town, invites visitors into a world carved from granite, its massive blocks arranged with such precision that the mountain itself seems to have been sculpted to serve human hands and purpose. Here, the past is not silent. It whispers through narrow streets, sacred terraces, and monumental walls. Ollantaytambo's stonework is a breathtaking testament to Inca engineering mastery. The site's centerpiece, the Temple Hill, rises dramatically with terraces that climb the mountainside, crowned by the Temple of the Sun, a structure whose immense stones fit together with an almost supernatural accuracy. These granite blocks, some weighing over 50 tons, are interlocked without mortar, their joints so tight and smooth that even a blade cannot be inserted between them. How did the builders achieve this level of craftsmanship with the tools of their time? What methods guided their selection, transportation, and carving of stones from distant quarries high in the mountains? Beyond its architectural grandeur, Ollantaytambo carries the weight of history as a strategic stronghold. It is one of the few Inca sites still inhabited, its living town laid out on a grid plan that mirrors the site's ancient urban design. The terraces once supported crops that sustained the population and the army defending the site during the Spanish conquest, notably during the legendary 1536 battle when the Inca emperor Manco Inca held off Spanish forces. This blend of military, agricultural, and religious functions imbues Ollantaytambo with layered complexity, offering a glimpse into Inca society's intricate organization. Yet, many mysteries persist. The purpose of certain enigmatic structures remains unclear. For example, the Sun Temple's curved walls and trapezoidal niches evoke sacred symbolism, but their full religious significance is debated. Was the temple dedicated solely to the sun god Inti, or did it serve a broader ritualistic function connected to the celestial cycles and agricultural calendar? Archaeologists have noted astronomical alignments within the site, windows and niches that frame sunrise points on solstices and equinoxes, suggesting the Incas integrated their architecture with celestial observations. How deeply intertwined were cosmology and daily life in Ollantaytambo? And did these alignments hold political or spiritual power for the Inca rulers? More puzzling is the source and transport of the massive stones themselves. The quarries lie several kilometers away, often on difficult terrain. The logistics of moving these megaliths uphill and positioning them with such precision defy straightforward explanation. Were advanced techniques or tools employed that remain lost to history? Or perhaps collective human effort, driven by spiritual devotion and political will, made the impossible possible? Speculative theories invite us further into the unknown. Some suggest that the terraces and structures of Ollantaytambo functioned not only for defense and agriculture, but as an elaborate sound system or acoustic device used in rituals or communication across the valley. Could certain stones or walls have been chosen for their resonant properties, amplifying voices or ceremonial music? What role did sound and sensory experience play in Inca spiritual life? Others propose that the site served as a nexus of energy or earth power, where the Incas harnessed geomantic forces through carefully chosen location and design. Could Ollantaytambo's placement and construction have been intended to align with invisible networks of energy connecting human, earth, and cosmos? Recent excavations continue to uncover layers beneath the visible structures, older foundations and unexplored chambers hinting at a longer history predating Inca occupation. What cultures influenced or preceded the Incas here, and how did their legacies shape the monumental city we see today? Walking Ollantaytambo's steep terraces and narrow streets today, one senses the profound dialogue between nature and human will. The mountains, the stones, and the sky all converge in a silent conversation spanning centuries. The site remains a living puzzle, part fortress, part temple, part city, each stone a word in a story still being told. What secrets remain hidden in its shadows? How might future discoveries illuminate the mysteries carved into these granite walls? Ollantaytambo stands as an enduring testament to human ingenuity and the enigmatic spirit of the ancient Andes, inviting us to look closer and wonder anew. Beneath the vast cobalt sky of the Bolivian Altiplano, near the shimmering waters of Lake Titicaca, lies Pumapunku, an ancient site whose fragmented stones speak in whispers of a forgotten mastery and a civilization's enigma. The ruins stretch across a barren plain strewn with colossal sandstone and andesite blocks, many carved with astonishing precision. At first glance, the site appears as a scattered jigsaw puzzle, yet closer examination reveals a deliberate, complex architectural vision that challenges conventional understanding. Pumapunku, whose name translates roughly as Door of the Puma, is part of the larger Tiwanaku archaeological complex, but it stands apart in its mystery and scale. Its vast platforms, terraces, and monumental stones are remnants of a once grand ceremonial center, dating back more than 1,200 years. The sheer size of the stone blocks is striking, some weigh over 130 tons, and many feature finely cut edges and geometric shapes, including perfectly squared corners and intricate interlocking joints that seem engineered with remarkable sophistication. How did the builders of Pumapunku achieve such precise stonework without the benefit of metal tools or the wheel? The smoothness of some surfaces and the exact angles carved into the stones evoke questions about lost technologies or techniques long vanished from human memory. Could the ancient artisans have used advanced methods for cutting and shaping stone, perhaps harnessing natural phenomena or techniques now lost to history? The layout of Pumapunku hints at a carefully planned architectural language. The platform terraces are arranged with geometric precision, and the presence of complex shapes, H-shaped blocks, T-shaped stones, and wedge-like forms, suggests a modular design that might have allowed the construction to be both sturdy and aesthetically striking. Was Pumapunku designed as a ceremonial gateway, a space for ritual performance, or a symbol of cosmic order? Archaeologists have noted that many of the blocks bear grooves and notches consistent with sophisticated joining systems, capable of holding the stones tightly together without mortar. The interlocking techniques surpass many other ancient sites, indicating an advanced understanding of engineering and geometry. What inspired such innovation, and to what end were these techniques applied? More puzzling is the apparent disarray in which these stones now lie. Pumapunku appears partly dismantled or destroyed, its once orderly structures reduced to a chaotic field of massive blocks. Was this the result of an earthquake, deliberate dismantling, or a gradual collapse over centuries? What does this fragmentation say about the society that built Pumapunku and the forces that led to its ruin? Speculative theories delve deeper into the enigma. Some propose that Pumapunku was a center of astronomical observation, or a temple aligned with celestial phenomena, its design encoding cosmological knowledge. Could the geometric precision be linked to star maps or calendars, embedding cosmic patterns into stone? Others suggest more controversial ideas, proposals of lost ancient technologies, or even extraterrestrial intervention, have captivated popular imagination, fueled by the site's architectural anomalies. While these remain outside the academic mainstream, they underscore the profound mystery Pumapunku embodies. Recent research employs cutting-edge technology such as 3D scanning and geophysical surveys, uncovering new insights into construction methods and site layout. These studies reveal the extraordinary skill of the ancient builders, even as many questions remain. How were these massive stones quarried, transported, and assembled with such precision at an altitude exceeding 3,800 meters? Walking amidst Pumapunku's colossal stones today, one senses a profound tension between order and chaos. A site that once reflected supreme human craftsmanship, now suspended in fragmented silence. The stones themselves seem to hold stories untold, a dialogue between human ingenuity and the relentless passage of time. What truths remain buried beneath the cracked surfaces and fractured blocks? How might future exploration and technology illuminate the methods and meanings behind Pumapunku's stone enigma? The mystery endures, inviting us to wonder at the depths of ancient knowledge waiting patiently beneath the Bolivian sky. High in the rugged Andes of Peru, where the mountain air is thin and the landscape steep, lie the ruins of the Inca civilization, among the most iconic and enigmatic remnants of pre-Columbian America. Sites such as Sacsayhuaman and Machu Picchu stand as silent witnesses to a culture whose architectural prowess, astronomical knowledge, and societal complexity continue to captivate historians and travelers alike. Their massive stones, precisely fitted without mortar, evoke a mastery that transcends simple construction, suggesting a profound relationship between human ingenuity and the natural world. Sacsayhuaman, perched on the northern outskirts of modern-day Cusco, presents itself as a fortress of immense scale and craftsmanship. The massive zigzagging walls, built from irregularly shaped stones weighing up to 200 tons, interlock so perfectly that even a single sheet of paper cannot slip between them. These walls curve and rise with a grace that belies their monumental weight, appearing almost fluid despite their enormity. It is a feat of engineering that raises questions. How did the Inca manipulate such colossal blocks with limited technology? What tools and techniques allowed them to achieve such precision? Were their methods purely mechanical, or did they draw upon knowledge lost to time? Beyond the technical marvels, Sacsayhuaman's purpose invites reflection. Traditionally seen as a military fortress, its location overlooking Cusco, the navel of the world in Inca cosmology, suggests strategic and symbolic significance. The site may have served as a center for rituals, gatherings, and the demonstration of imperial power. But what rituals were conducted within these stones? How did the fortress embody the spiritual and political authority of the Inca Empire? From Sacsayhuaman, the journey ascends higher into the clouds to Machu Picchu, perhaps the most famous Inca site. Nestled on a mountain ridge above the Urubamba River Valley, Machu Picchu emerges from the mist like a dream, an architectural wonder seamlessly integrated with its dramatic natural surroundings. Terraces cascade down steep slopes, stone temples and plazas occupy the ridges, and the famous Intihuatana stone stands as a silent sentinel. The very layout of Machu Picchu reveals an intimate understanding of geography, hydrology, and astronomy. Water channels and fountains flow through the city, ingeniously managed to prevent erosion and provide for inhabitants. The positioning of structures aligns with solstice sunrises and sunsets, hinting at a celestial calendar inscribed in stone. Could Machu Picchu have been a royal retreat, a religious sanctuary, or a sophisticated observatory? Or perhaps it was all of these things layered in meaning and function. Archaeological evidence suggests Machu Picchu was inhabited for only a short time before the Spanish conquest disrupted Inca society, yet the precision and artistry invested in its construction speak of deliberate design and immense cultural importance. How did the builders overcome the challenges of steep slopes, seismic activity, and thin air to create such a lasting monument? One of the most enduring mysteries is the construction itself. Stones at both Sacsayhuaman and Machu Picchu fit so tightly that the joints seem almost invisible. Some theories suggest the Incas employed a method of stone shaping involving hammerstones and sand abrasion, but the speed and accuracy achieved still puzzle experts. Could there have been advanced knowledge of acoustics or vibration to assist in shaping the stones? Was there a lost tradition of stone craftsmanship passed down through generations? Beyond architecture, the social and spiritual context of these sites invites contemplation. The Inca worldview was deeply intertwined with nature and astronomy, embracing concepts of duality, reciprocity, and sacred geography. Mountains were revered as powerful deities, and the alignment of structures with celestial events suggests a cosmology written not in books, but in earth and stone. Speculative theories propose that the Intihuatana stone at Machu Picchu, often called the hitching post of the sun, may have functioned as more than a solar calendar. Some suggest it was used for ritualistic purposes, perhaps to tether the sun or harness energy. Could the Incas have possessed knowledge of Earth's magnetic fields or subtle energies, integrating these into their sacred architecture? While such ideas remain controversial, they invite us to look beyond traditional narratives. The ingenuity of Inca engineering also extends to their agricultural terraces, which transformed steep mountainsides into fertile fields, demonstrating an adaptive resilience to their environment. How did these terraces contribute to social cohesion and food security? Were they also symbolic, representing an ordered cosmos in microcosm? Furthermore, the mysteries of Inca road systems, linking these monumental sites, hint at a civilization capable of remarkable logistical organization and communication across diverse terrains. What role did these networks play in the integration of empire, and how did they facilitate the flow of ideas, goods, and rituals? Today, the stones of Sacsayhuaman and Machu Picchu stand not only as relics of the past, but as invitations to reflect on human creativity, the passage of time, and the mysteries embedded in stone. Despite centuries of study, many questions endure. How precisely were these sites used in daily and ceremonial life? What knowledge, spiritual or scientific, remains hidden in their construction? And how might future discoveries reshape our understanding of this pinnacle of ancient ingenuity? As the sun rises over the Andean peaks, casting golden light upon these stones, we are reminded that the story of the Inca civilization is still unfolding, an open question carved into the mountains, beckoning us to listen closely and wonder at the depths beneath the surface. Beneath the golden haze of the Lebanese sun in the fertile Bekaa Valley where the ancient world once thrived, lies Baalbek, a monumental testament to human ambition carved in stone. The sprawling ruins of this ancient city rise from the earth like colossal sentinels, their massive blocks and towering columns creating a landscape that both humbles and captivates. Baalbek's grandeur is unmistakable, yet it conceals mysteries that have puzzled historians, architects, and travelers for centuries. At the heart of Baalbek stands the Great Temple of Jupiter, its vast platform constructed from some of the largest stones ever used in ancient architecture. The trilithon stones, 3 monolithic blocks, each weighing approximately 800 tons, form a foundation so massive that their sheer size defies easy explanation. How were these gigantic stones quarried, transported, and set in place with such precision thousands of years ago, long before the advent of modern machinery? What methods did the builders use to achieve such engineering feats, and why was this temple constructed on such a grand scale? Surrounding the Temple of Jupiter are the remains of other temples, dedicated to Bacchus and Venus, each revealing the fusion of religious devotion, imperial power, and architectural mastery. The site reflects layers of history, from Phoenician origins to Roman grandeur. Yet beneath this palimpsest lie questions about its true origins and purpose. Who first built at Baalbek, and what drew them to this place in the heart of the Levant? The precision of the stonework is striking. The massive blocks fit together with astonishing exactness, their surfaces polished and their joints seamless. Unlike many ancient sites where mortar fills gaps, Baalbek's stones are laid so tightly that even a blade cannot be inserted between them. This mastery of stone carving and placement speaks of a lost tradition of craftsmanship and knowledge. Was this expertise born from generations of trial and error, or does it hint at advanced techniques now forgotten? Beyond the technical questions lies the deeper mystery of Baalbek's symbolic and spiritual significance. The city was a major religious center in antiquity, dedicated primarily to the god Baal and later to Jupiter, yet its design suggests a sacred geography aligned with celestial patterns. Some researchers propose that Baalbek's layout corresponds to astronomical phenomena, perhaps aligned with solstices, equinoxes, or specific star constellations, embedding cosmic order into stone. Yet the origins of Baalbek's most imposing stones remain a subject of debate. The massive foundation stones predate much of the Roman construction, hinting at a complex building history that may stretch back to earlier, less understood cultures. Some fringe theories speculate that the site was part of a lost civilization possessing advanced engineering capabilities, though mainstream archaeology generally attributes its construction to Phoenician and later Roman efforts. Could there be older, hidden layers beneath the visible ruins, waiting to be uncovered? The quarry near Baalbek, known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, features a monolith so large it was never moved. This incomplete stone raises further questions. Why was such a colossal block abandoned? Was it intended for Baalbek, And if so, how might it have been transported? What does this tell us about the logistical and technical limits of ancient builders? Recent studies employ ground-penetrating radar and other technologies to explore subsurface features, hoping to reveal more about the city's layout and construction phases. Excavations continue to unearth artifacts and structures that complicate the narrative, suggesting Baalbek was not just a religious center, but a hub of social and economic activity. Walking among Baalbek's towering columns and enormous stones today, one feels both awe and a subtle disquiet. The site's silence speaks of lost knowledge and forgotten purposes, of civilizations that rose and fell, leaving behind only their monumental legacies. The juxtaposition of human ambition and natural grandeur creates a landscape ripe for contemplation and mystery. What secrets are still buried beneath Baalbek's massive stones? How might future discoveries reshape our understanding of this enigmatic site? As the sun sets over the Bika Valley, casting long shadows on the ancient ruins, Baalbek remains a silent challenge, a call to explore the unknown depths of history and human achievement. Beneath the vast expanse of the South Pacific sky, a solitary island rises from the ocean's embrace. Rapa Nui, known to many as Easter Island. It is a place where wind-carved volcanic landscapes meet an ocean that stretches endlessly in every direction, a remote and enigmatic corner of the world. Here, scattered across the island's rugged terrain, stand the Moai, monumental stone statues whose silent gazes have captured human imagination for centuries. These towering figures, hewn from volcanic tuff and basalt, seem to hold secrets carved in stone, whispering of a lost civilization's profound mysteries. From a distance, the Moai emerge like sentinels guarding the island's history, their elongated faces and broad shoulders silhouetted against the sky. Each statue varies in size, some reaching over 10 meters tall, others more modest in scale, but all bearing the unmistakable features of a culture deeply attuned to symbolism and ancestral reverence. The statues often face inland, overlooking the villages and fertile valleys, as if watching over the living descendants of the island's ancient builders. Archaeological research reveals that the Moai were crafted between the 13th and 16th centuries, a remarkable feat given the island's isolation and limited resources. The quarry at Rano Raraku, where many of these statues were carved, offers evidence of an extensive and sophisticated sculpting tradition. Yet, many questions endure. How did the islanders, with rudimentary tools, shape these massive figures with such precision? More intriguingly, how were the statues transported across difficult terrain to their final platforms, the Aiku, some located miles from the quarry? Theories abound, from logs and sledges to the more recent walking hypothesis, where Moai were rocked and maneuvered upright using ropes, a method demonstrated by experimental archaeologists. Yet the precise techniques remain debated, and the logistical challenge remains profound. How could a society of relatively small population manage such feats of engineering and coordination? What social or spiritual impetus drove this monumental effort? Beyond their physical construction, the purpose and symbolism of the Moai remain subjects of deep intrigue. These statues are believed to represent deified ancestors, embodying mana, spiritual power, and serving as intermediaries between the living and the divine. The Ahu platforms, ceremonial centers where the Moai stood, were likely places of ritual and community gathering, reinforcing social cohesion and lineage. But what rituals accompanied these statues? Were they active participants in island life, or silent guardians of a fading era? Environmental evidence points to a complex and precarious relationship between the islanders and their ecosystem. Deforestation, soil erosion, and resource depletion suggest that the quest to erect and move Moai may have strained the island's fragile environment. How did the society balance reverence for ancestors with survival? Did the construction of the moai contribute to ecological decline? And if so, what lessons can be drawn from this interplay? Speculative theories extend beyond the archaeological record. Some propose that the moai served as markers of territorial claims or clan boundaries, while others suggest more esoteric roles, such as energy conductors or celestial alignments. The positioning of certain statues relative to the sun and stars hints at an astronomical dimension, though definitive proof remains elusive. Could the moai have functioned as a terrestrial constellation, mapping cosmic cycles onto the island's landscape? More fringe ideas suggest that the statues are relics of lost ancient knowledge or even extraterrestrial contact, narratives that, while captivating popular imagination, remain speculative. Yet these perspectives underscore the profound mystery the moai embody, a mystery that continues to challenge and inspire. Recent archaeological advances, including 3D mapping and underwater explorations around the island, reveal additional layers of complexity. Submerged platforms and sunken moai hint at a dynamic landscape shaped by rising seas and shifting cultural practices. What might still lie hidden beneath the ocean's surface or buried beneath centuries of earth? Walking among the moai today, one feels a palpable connection to human history's depths, a dialogue between stone, sea, and sky. The statues, silent and steadfast, invite contemplation not only of their makers, but of the universal human quest to leave meaning etched in the world. Their gaze, fixed and timeless, challenges us to look beyond the obvious and consider what truths still lie veiled beneath Rapa Nui's volcanic soil. Beneath the vast, unrelenting sun of the Sudanese desert, the ancient city of Meroe rises like a phantom from the sands. A sprawling complex of pyramids, temples, and ruins that whisper of a civilization long vanished but not forgotten. Nestled near the banks of the Nile, beyond the shifting dunes and rocky plateaus, Meroe was once the heart of the kingdom of Kush, a powerful and sophisticated society that rivaled its more famous neighbor, ancient Egypt. Here, in this remote and enigmatic landscape, the story of ancient Nubia unfolds, rich with grandeur, complexity, and unanswered questions. The sight of Meroe at dawn is both haunting and majestic. From a distance, rows upon rows of steep pyramids dot the horizon, their sharply angled sides catching the first light and casting long shadows across the desert floor. Unlike the smooth, monumental pyramids of Egypt, these structures are smaller, more slender, yet no less imposing. Built primarily of sandstone and brick, the Meroitic pyramids served as royal tombs, each one marked with intricately carved reliefs and hieroglyphs that echo a distinct cultural identity, an identity both intertwined with and separate from that of their northern neighbors. Archaeologists have uncovered hundreds of these pyramids in the region, revealing a necropolis that was in use for nearly a millennium, from around 800 BCE to 350 CE. Their compact size and steep angles raise questions about the symbolism and architectural choices of the Kushite people. Why did they favor this particular style of burial monument? What beliefs and rituals guided the design and construction of these tombs? The pyramids of Meroe stand as silent sentinels guarding mysteries about life, death, and power in this ancient kingdom. The city itself, now largely reclaimed by desert sands, once bustled with activity. Excavations reveal traces of palaces, temples dedicated to gods both Egyptian and indigenous to Nubia, workshops, and residential areas. Meroe was a center of iron smelting, and its furnaces bear witness to a society with advanced metallurgical skills that fueled both its economy and its military power. How did Meroe emerge as a regional hub of innovation and trade, connecting sub-Saharan Africa, Egypt, and the Mediterranean world? What networks of exchange and influence shaped its rise? temples at Meroe display a fascinating blend of artistic styles and religious traditions. Deities such as Amun, Isis, and Osiris were worshipped alongside native gods like Apetamak, the lion-headed warrior. The iconography carved into temple walls and stelae invites reflection on how these overlapping beliefs shaped the kingdom's identity. Did religious syncretism provide political cohesion? Or did it represent deeper spiritual dialogues between cultures? Yet many aspects of Meroe's history remain obscured. The Kushite language, written in a unique Meroitic script, has only partially been deciphered, limiting our understanding of inscriptions that could illuminate social structure, governance, and daily life. What stories are locked within these symbols? What insights about rulers, commoners, and their interactions wait to be uncovered? Speculative theories emerge from these gaps. Some suggest that Meroe's prominence was tied to secret knowledge of iron production, which may have granted it an edge in regional conflicts. Could technological innovation have been as crucial to its power as military might or religious authority? Others propose that the city was a center of esoteric wisdom, its temples harboring mysteries related to astrology, medicine, or ritual practices now lost to time. The collapse of Meroe remains a subject of debate. Around the 4th century CE, the city was abandoned, its pyramids and temples falling into ruin. Was this decline due to economic shifts, environmental degradation, foreign invasion, or internal strife? Could climate change, such as desertification or Nile flooding patterns, have played a role? The truth is likely complex, woven from multiple factors that challenge straightforward explanation. Modern technologies like satellite imaging and ground-penetrating radar continue to reveal hidden features beneath the sands, roads, foundations, and possibly undiscovered tombs, offering tantalizing clues to a civilization still partly veiled by time. Each new discovery deepens the mystery while inviting further questions. Walking through the ruins of Meroe today, one cannot help but feel the weight of history pressing against the present. The stones, worn smooth by centuries of wind, seem to hold secrets that transcend written record, echoes of kings and queens, priests and artisans, and the lives of ordinary people who once walked these streets. The interplay of African and Egyptian influences, the mastery of ironwork, the enigmatic script, all hint at a civilization rich in complexity and nuance. What truths about ancient Nubia remain hidden beneath the desert sands? How might future research reshape our understanding of Meroe and its people? As the desert sun sets behind distant dunes, casting a warm glow over the pyramids, the ancient city lingers in a liminal space, between ruin and remembrance, mystery and revelation, waiting patiently for those who seek to uncover its stories anew. Beneath the rolling hills of southeastern Turkey, nestled amidst a landscape shaped by millennia of shifting climates and ancient footsteps, lies Göbekli Tepe, an archaeological wonder that has rewritten the very narrative of human history. Here, atop a gentle rise in the arid plains, stand enigmatic stone circles and towering pillars carved with intricate reliefs of animals and abstract symbols. These silent stones, some shaped like T and weighing multiple tons, seem to emanate a profound sense of mystery, hinting at a world that existed long before the dawn of civilization as we once understood it. Göbekli Tepe dates back more than 11,000 years, making it the oldest known monumental structure created by humankind. Its age alone challenges long-held assumptions, predating the advent of agriculture and settled life by several millennia. How could a society still primarily composed of hunter-gatherers undertake such an ambitious architectural project? What motivated these early peoples to erect these vast enclosures, painstakingly carving animal figures, lions, snakes, boars, scorpions, into limestone pillars that reach up to 5 meters high? Was it a temple, a gathering place, or something entirely different? The scale and craftsmanship of Göbekli Tepe are remarkable. The pillars stand in circular formations, arranged with a deliberate geometry that suggests a sophisticated understanding of space and symbolism. Many pillars feature reliefs that seem to depict both the natural world and perhaps mythic or spiritual themes. Could these carvings have held ritualistic significance, perhaps serving as totems or representations of celestial bodies? Or were they markers of stories and knowledge, encoded in stone for a community whose language we may never fully grasp? Interestingly, the site was deliberately buried around 8000 BCE, its massive stones carefully covered with soil and rubble. Why would its builders go to such lengths to hide their monumental creation? Was this an act of reverence, an attempt to preserve sacred ground? Or was it a response to social or environmental upheaval? The intentional burial adds yet another layer of mystery to a site already rife with unanswered questions. Archaeologists have found no evidence of permanent dwellings directly associated with Göbekli Tepe, suggesting that it was not a conventional settlement. Instead, it may have functioned as a ceremonial center, a place where disparate groups gathered seasonally for ritual and social purposes. How did such gatherings influence the development of human societies? Did the need to cooperate and share in these ceremonies catalyze the eventual shift toward agriculture and permanent villages? The construction techniques employed are also puzzling. Without metal tools, wheeled vehicles, or even pottery, how did these ancient peoples quarry, transport, and erect such massive stones? Did they use ropes, levers, and ingenuity alone? Or might there be elements of lost knowledge, techniques passed down and then forgotten with time? The sheer effort required implies a high degree of social organization and shared purpose, challenging the idea that complex societies only arose after farming began. Speculative interpretations invite us to consider Göbekli Tepe as more than a religious or social site. Some suggest it was a kind of prehistoric observatory, its layout and reliefs corresponding to star constellations or cosmic cycles. Could the animal motifs symbolize constellations or calendrical markers, encoding astronomical knowledge in stone? Others propose the site was a pilgrimage destination, drawing early humans together in a proto-spiritual experience that shaped human consciousness itself. Even more controversial are theories that place Göbekli Tepe at the center of ancient mysteries, assertions of lost civilizations, forgotten epics of advanced knowledge, or transformative rituals that altered human evolution. While such claims remain speculative, they reflect the profound impact this site has on our understanding of prehistory. As excavation continues, new discoveries emerge, slowly peeling back the layers of time. Each carved pillar, each carefully arranged circle, tells a fragment of a story still incomplete. What truths are hidden beneath the soil and stone? What can Göbekli Tepe teach us about the origins of human society, spirituality, and culture? Walking through the site today, amid the rising pillars and the echoes of forgotten hands, one feels a palpable connection to the dawn of civilization, a moment when humanity began to shape its environment, not just for survival, but for meaning. Göbekli Tepe remains an open question, an ancient riddle inscribed in stone, inviting us to ponder the mysteries of our collective past and the deep roots of human ingenuity. Beneath the often gray skies of the English Salisbury Plain, a timeless silhouette rises against the horizon: Stonehenge. This circle of immense standing stones, arranged in a precise and enigmatic pattern, has long captivated observers, scholars, and dreamers alike. The air here feels thick with history, and the stones themselves seem to hum with an ancient resonance, as if holding secrets far beyond their weathered surfaces. Stonehenge's massive sarsen stones, some towering over 6 meters high, stand arranged in a circular formation that hints at a design both purposeful and profound. Interspersed among them are smaller bluestones, transported over vast distances from the Preseli Hills of Wales, nearly 250 kilometers away. How did the Neolithic people of Britain manage to move these hefty stones, weighing several tons each, across such great distances with only rudimentary technology? What motivated this monumental effort? Was it religious devotion, astronomical observation, or a social statement of power and unity? Archaeological evidence dates Stonehenge's construction phases from around 3000 BCE to 2000 BCE, spanning centuries of human activity. Yet the purpose of the site remains tantalizingly elusive. Some believe it served as a celestial calendar, aligning perfectly with the solstices, the summer sunrise and winter sunset, marking the rhythms of nature and time. Others suggest it was a sacred burial ground, as human remains have been found nearby, intertwined with the narrative of life and death. Could Stonehenge have been both? A place where the living communed with ancestors under the arc of the heavens? The layout of Stonehenge hints at a complex understanding of geometry and astronomy. The precise positioning of stones frames solar and lunar events, suggesting an early form of observational science. But was this knowledge born out of practical necessity, or was it imbued with spiritual significance? Did the builders see the cosmos as a living entity, and did Stonehenge function as a bridge between earth and sky? Intriguingly, beneath the surface lie even older mysteries. Excavations have revealed earlier timber circles and earthworks predating the stone monument, indicating that the site's significance spans multiple generations and cultures. This layered history prompts reflection. How did evolving societies reinterpret and reshape Stonehenge's meaning over time? What rituals and gatherings echoed across these plains in the shadows of the stones? Transporting the blue stones remains one of Stonehenge's most enduring puzzles. The stone's journey from Wales suggests a purposeful connection between distant communities. Was this a symbol of unity or a display of dominance? Did the stones themselves carry sacred meaning, considered powerful or magical by the Neolithic people? Speculative theories also arise from these enigmas. Some propose Stonehenge as a site of healing, a place where ancient peoples sought physical or spiritual restoration. Others suggest it served as a stage for social or political gatherings, perhaps a place where leaders were legitimized. Fringe ideas extend further, imagining Stonehenge as an ancient astronomical observatory or even a remnant of lost advanced technologies, perspectives that, while controversial, reflect the deep fascination the site inspires. The surrounding landscape adds further mystery. Nearby earthworks like the Durrington Walls and the Avenue, as well as other henges and burial mounds, form a complex ceremonial landscape. Together, they may have functioned as an interconnected ritual space, a sacred geography reflecting cosmology and social order. How did these places interact, and what does their proximity reveal about Neolithic life? Today, Stonehenge continues to draw visitors from around the world, pilgrims, tourists, scholars, each drawn by the monument's silent presence. Standing among the stones, one senses the flow of time, the countless footsteps that have passed here, and the lingering questions about who built this place and why. The stones, weathered but enduring, challenge us to look beyond the obvious, to ponder the relationship between human ambition, nature, and the cosmos. What stories remain hidden in the earth beneath Stonehenge? What knowledge, ritual, or memory might still be locked within these ancient stones? As the sun rises or sets, casting long shadows across the circle, the mystery endures, inviting us to listen, watch, and wonder at the profound enigma that is Stonehenge. Beyond the shimmering heat of Egypt's vast western desert, where the sands stretch endlessly and the horizon wavers in the distance, lies a place that predates the great pyramids and temples of the Nile Valley, a place called Nabta Playa. Here, scattered stones arranged with deliberate care create patterns that echo the cosmic rhythms of the heavens, whispering a story of an ancient people whose knowledge and beliefs challenge our understanding of prehistoric Africa. Nabta Playa emerges as an archaeological enigma, a prehistoric ceremonial site dating back some 7,000 to 6,000 years. At first glance, one might see only rough stones set upon parched earth, but as the sun arcs across the sky, the shadows cast by these megaliths reveal a sophisticated alignment with the rising and setting of certain stars and solstices, signs that the builders observed and revered celestial cycles with a precision once thought unimaginable for a Neolithic culture in this harsh desert environment. The stone circles, burial sites, and wells discovered here speak of a community not merely surviving, but thriving in this arid landscape, forging a deep relationship with the cosmos. What motivated the people of Nabta Playa to arrange these stones in patterns so precise, so enduring? Was this a calendar to mark seasonal changes crucial for survival? Or was it a sacred space where earth and sky met, a place for ritual and connection to the divine? Excavations reveal more than just stones. Remnants of cattle bones and pottery suggest that pastoralism, herding animals rather than farming, played a central role in this society. The cattle appear to have been venerated, possibly sacred, hinting at early forms of religious practice. Could the rise of animal domestication here have intertwined with evolving spiritual beliefs, perhaps inspiring the creation of these stone circles? And what does this tell us about the origins of religion and astronomy in human history? Intriguingly, the site's alignment and construction predate, by millennia, similar megalithic sites elsewhere, challenging the notion that advanced astronomical knowledge emerged only alongside settled agricultural civilizations. How did a nomadic or semi-nomadic society develop such precise astronomical understanding? Did they observe the skies simply out of necessity, tracking rainfall, seasons, and animal migrations? Or was there a deeper cosmological framework at play? Some researchers propose that Nabta Playa represents one of the earliest known manifestations of archaeoastronomy, suggesting that prehistoric peoples across the world independently developed ways to interpret the cosmos. But others wonder, could there have been exchanges of knowledge, of ideas carried along ancient trade routes, connecting distant cultures in surprising ways? Beyond the scientific explanations, the site invites more speculative questions. Could Nabta Playa have been a pilgrimage destination, drawing communities together for ceremonies tied to the heavens and the earth's cycles? Was it a place where early shamanic or priestly figures interpreted the movements of stars and planets, guiding social and agricultural decisions? Or might these stones embody a proto-calendar, a precursor to the complex systems that would later govern timekeeping and ritual in ancient Egypt? The desert landscape surrounding Nabta Playa adds to its aura of mystery. How did shifting climates affect the people who gathered here? As the Sahara transformed from a green savanna into an unforgiving desert, did the site's significance change? Did its abandonment mark a turning point in human adaptation to climate change, migration, and societal evolution? The deliberate burying or repositioning of stones at the site also raises questions. Were these acts symbolic closures, marking the end of eras, honoring ancestors, or protecting sacred knowledge? The silence left in these earthworks feels intentional, as if the ancient builders knew they were crafting messages for distant future generations. Walking the windswept plains of Nabta Playa today, one is struck by the quiet power of the stones, simple yet profound, earthly yet cosmic. They call us to consider the deep human urge to understand our place in the universe, to mark time and space with meaning. The people who built here, now lost to time, remind us that the roots of human curiosity and spirituality reach far deeper than we often imagine. What remains hidden beneath the sands? What stories might the stones still tell if we learn to listen more closely? As the desert sun sets over Nabta Playa, painting the stones in hues of gold and shadow, the ancient mystery lingers, an invitation to explore not just the past, but the enduring human quest to connect earth and sky. Beneath the enduring weight of countless millennia, the ancient stones of megalithic sites around the world stand silent and immovable. Yet as one contemplates their massive forms and intricate arrangements, a subtle question begins to take shape. Could these stones themselves hold a hidden message? A secret encoded not merely in their physical presence, but in the very patterns, symbols, and positioning, waiting patiently for a key to unlock a deeper understanding of the civilizations that shaped them. From the towering monoliths of Stonehenge to the enigmatic carvings at Göbekli Tepe, and from the massive foundations of Baalbek to the celestial alignments of Nabta Playa, a recurring motif emerges. Stones arranged with deliberate intent, often echoing cosmic rhythms, sacred geometries, or symbolic iconographies. But are these arrangements simply expressions of religious reverence? Or might they also serve as complex, encoded communications? What if, embedded within their placement and carvings, lies a language, one that transcends spoken words and written script? Consider the meticulous geometry observed in many megalithic sites. Circles, triangles, alignments with solstices and equinoxes, patterns that resonate with mathematical precision. Were these shapes chosen purely for aesthetic or ritual purposes? Or might they encode numerical, astronomical, or even calendrical information preserved in stone to guide future generations? Could these monuments be early manifestations of human attempts to map the universe, not only physically but conceptually, through a symbolic lexicon carved and arranged with care? Carvings and reliefs add another dimension. Animals, abstract symbols, and mysterious motifs adorn pillars and slabs across cultures separated by vast distances and time. In some cases, such as Göbekli Tepe's sculpted beasts or the enigmatic petroglyphs of Newgrange, these images invite multiple interpretations. Are they totems, mythological references, or artistic expressions? Or do they form parts of a coded message, a visual script whose meanings remain just beyond our grasp? The idea of encoded messages is not new, but it challenges us to look beyond traditional archaeological interpretations. Some scholars propose that megalithic builders were early scientists, philosophers, or even mathematicians who embedded complex knowledge within their constructions. If so, what knowledge did they seek to preserve, and why? Was it practical, relating to agriculture, navigation, or astronomy, or did it delve into metaphysical realms, spirituality, or even social order? More speculative theories push the boundaries further. Certain fringe perspectives suggest that megalithic stones convey knowledge left by lost civilizations or even otherworldly visitors. While such ideas often attract skepticism, they underscore a universal human fascination, the desire to find meaning in stone, to uncover secrets deliberately hidden across time and space. Recent advances in technology offer new ways to explore these possibilities. LiDAR scanning, 3D modeling, and digital analysis reveal subtle features invisible to the naked eye. Alignments, micro-carvings, or spatial relationships that may carry significance. Could the future of megalithic studies lie in these digital excavations, allowing us to read the stones anew and unlock messages previously concealed? The very act of encoding knowledge in stone implies a long-term vision. These monuments have endured thousands of years, surviving natural erosion and human interference. What drove their creators to inscribe such permanence? Was it a hope to communicate across generations? To safeguard wisdom or to leave a spiritual legacy? And what does this tell us about their worldview, a sense of time, memory, and connection that stretches beyond a single lifetime? Walking among these ancient stones today, one is struck by their silent persistence. They neither speak nor move, yet their presence commands attention, inviting contemplation. What stories remain untold beneath their shadows? What messages linger just beyond our current understanding, waiting patiently to be uncovered? As we peer into the distant past, gazing upon these monoliths and circles, the question remains open. Is there a hidden message etched in stone, encoded in geometry and symbol, awaiting a key only future generations may find? The stones, steadfast and enduring, offer no answers, only an invitation to wonder, explore, and listen closely to the whispers of history carved into their ancient surfaces. Amid the dense jungles and rolling hills of western Java, Indonesia, there rises an imposing hill known as Gunung Padang. At first glance, it appears to be just another natural feature of the volcanic landscape, cloaked in lush vegetation and shaped by time's slow hand. But beneath the canopy and soil lies a secret, one that challenges conventional timelines of human history and invites us to reconsider the origins of megalithic civilization in Southeast Asia. Gunung Padang is not merely a hill, but an ancient megalithic site composed of terraces made from massive stone blocks, carefully arranged in a stepped pyramid-like formation. Unlike many other megalithic structures, it is built not with quarried stones dragged from afar, but with columnar basalt stones, naturally fractured yet deliberately positioned by human hands. The pattern of these terraces and their alignment suggest an architectural intent that goes beyond simple functionality, hinting at ritual significance, astronomical awareness, or social organization. Archaeologists generally date the main construction of Gunung Padang to around 2,500 to 3,000 years ago, situating it within the late Neolithic to early Bronze Age period. Yet, a growing body of research, including some radiocarbon dating of deeper layers and geological studies, proposes a much older origin, some estimates placing parts of the site's foundation at over 12,000 years old. If true, this would predate most known monumental constructions worldwide and rewrite chapters of prehistoric human development. But how can such a claim be reconciled with existing archaeological frameworks? And what might explain the extraordinary layering and complexity of the site? The site's terraced structure ascends the hill in 5 levels, each constructed from thousands of large basalt stones, carefully stacked and fitted without mortar. Interspersed among the terraces are rectangular chambers and possible ritual spaces, their purpose still debated. What ceremonies might have taken place here? Did these terraces serve as stages for community gatherings, spiritual rites, or perhaps observatories watching the movements of the sun and stars? Theories about Gunung Padang's builders and their culture remain tentative. Some scholars suggest that the site was a focal point for early agricultural societies in the region, a center where social hierarchies began to take shape alongside emerging technologies. Others see it as evidence of a much older civilization, one whose knowledge and skills rival those traditionally attributed only to much later cultures. Intriguingly, the geological analysis of Gunung Padang reveals that its stone terraces sit atop layers of artificially arranged volcanic stones, suggesting a deliberate effort to modify the landscape on a grand scale. Could this imply that the site's builders had a sophisticated understanding of geology and engineering? And if so, where did such knowledge originate in a time when the tools and technologies we associate with advanced construction were thought to be absent? Speculative voices have explored the idea that Gunung Padang might be a remnant of a lost civilization, one submerged beneath the annals of history due to cataclysmic events or gradual cultural shifts. Some fringe interpretations even propose that the site holds evidence of pre-human or non-local intelligence. While these ideas remain outside mainstream archaeology, they underscore the profound mystery and allure that Gunung Padang holds. Further mysteries abound in the site's alignments. The terraces are oriented in ways that some interpret as corresponding to cardinal points or celestial events. Could Gunung Padang have functioned as a prehistoric observatory, encoding astronomical knowledge in its very stones? And how does this align with other megalithic traditions scattered across the globe that similarly engage with the heavens? As excavations continue, the stratigraphy of Gunung Padang grows ever more complex, revealing multiple phases of construction and remodeling over thousands of years. Each layer adds depth to the story, yet deepens the enigma. What cultural and historical narratives are buried beneath these stones, waiting for patient inquiry and time's slow unraveling? Visiting Gunung Padang today is an immersive experience, a silent encounter with the echoes of ancient hands that shaped this landscape with care and intention. The moss-covered basalt stones, the sweeping terraces climbing the hill, and the enveloping rainforest speak of a time both distant and somehow intimately connected to our own. It invites reflection on humanity's capacity for creation, adaptation, and spiritual expression in places and eras we are only beginning to understand. What secrets remain locked within Gunung Padang's layers? What truths about human history, lost knowledge, and cultural evolution might yet emerge? As the tropical winds stir the leaves and the sun filters through the canopy, Gunung Padang stands poised at the intersection of past and present, an enduring monument to mystery and the endless quest to comprehend our origins. The high plateau of the Peruvian Altiplano stretches beneath a wide, endless sky, its air thin and crisp, carrying whispers of ancient stories long past. Here, perched on the shores of Lake Umayo near the city of Puno, rises the mysterious funerary complex known as Silastani. A landscape of stone tombs, known as chulpas, stand sentinel against the sweeping vistas, their cylindrical forms emerging from the earth like silent sentries guarding secrets of a vanished culture. Silastani's chulpas are unlike any other burial structures in the Americas. Towering up to 12 meters high, these cylindrical stone towers are crafted from precisely cut and fitted volcanic stones, their walls curving gracefully yet sturdily with an engineering finesse that belies their ancient origin. The smooth stone surfaces reflect a subtle interplay of light and shadow, especially as the sun rises and sets behind the surrounding hills, imbuing the site with a contemplative, almost sacred aura. Archaeologists attribute Silastani primarily to the Kola people, predecessors to the Inca civilization, dating from around the 12th to 15th centuries CE. These chulpas served as tombs for the elite, a place where the dead could rest elevated, closer to the heavens. Yet, questions remain about the precise rituals and beliefs surrounding these structures. Why were the dead interred in such monumental towers? What did the shape and design signify? And how did the builders manage to quarry, transport, and assemble such large stones in this remote, high-altitude environment? The construction techniques of Silastani remain a subject of fascination and debate. The stones, some weighing several tons, were shaped with remarkable accuracy and placed without mortar, fitting together so precisely that even a blade cannot slip between them. What tools and methods did the Kala use to achieve such craftsmanship? Was this purely a display of power and reverence, or might it suggest an advanced knowledge of stonemasonry and structural engineering? More intriguingly, the placement of the chulpas across the plateau appears intentional, aligned with the contours of the landscape and possibly with celestial events. Some researchers speculate that the positioning of these tombs corresponds with solstices or lunar cycles, hinting at an intricate relationship between the dead and the cosmos. Did the Kola view death not as an end, but as a transition, one that required precise synchronization with the cycles of the sun and moon? Could these towers have functioned as beacons, linking the world of the living to the realm of the ancestors in the sky? The interior of many chulpas reveals small chambers once housing mummified remains and offerings. This suggests complex funerary practices and a rich spiritual life, yet much of this remains shrouded in mystery due to limited excavation and preservation challenges. What stories might the artifacts and remains tell, if only time and careful study allowed? Speculative theories arise from these mysteries, encouraging us to consider broader possibilities. Some propose that Silustani served as more than a cemetery, that it was a ceremonial center, a site where the living communed with the spirits of the elite, or perhaps a place imbued with healing or protective powers. Others wonder if the towers encoded astronomical knowledge or acted as territorial markers asserting dominance over the landscape. Could Silustani represent a unique blend of social, spiritual, and cosmic significance, one that defies simple categorization? Certain fringe perspectives even suggest that the precision and scale of Silustani's construction hint at influences beyond what traditional archaeology can explain. Perhaps echoes of lost technologies or cultural transmissions yet to be fully understood. While such ideas invite skepticism, they underscore the profound enigma that these ancient stones evoke. Today, as the cold wind sweeps across the Altiplano and the sun casts long shadows over the chulpas, Silustani remains a place of quiet contemplation. The towers stand resilient, weathered but intact, inviting visitors to peer back through time and wonder at the hands that built them. What were the hopes and fears of the people who raised these stone sentinels? What rituals played out beneath the vast sky? And what truths about life, death, and the cosmos remain just beyond our grasp? Silustani lingers as an open question etched into stone, a testament to human creativity, faith, and the enduring desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. As the light fades and the stars emerge over the Peruvian plateau, we are left to ponder what secrets lie still buried beneath the stones, waiting patiently for those who will listen. Beneath the sunlit hills of Cappadocia in central Turkey lies a realm hidden from the eyes of the world, a subterranean labyrinth carved deep into the soft volcanic rock. This is Derinkuyu, an underground city that plunges some 60 meters below the surface, a sprawling network of tunnels, chambers, and passageways that could shelter thousands. Its very existence challenges assumptions about ancient human ingenuity, prompting us to question how and why such a complex was built and what secrets it might conceal. Approaching Derinkuyu, one might first notice only a modest entrance, an unassuming doorway nestled into a hillside. But beyond this portal stretches a vast, multi-level city hewn from stone, with living quarters, storage rooms, kitchens, wells, chapels, and even ventilation shafts that ensure fresh air circulates throughout the depths. The architecture is both practical and sophisticated. Massive rolling stone doors could seal off entire sections, protecting inhabitants from invaders or dangers above. But what circumstances compelled ancient peoples to undertake such an enormous feat of subterranean engineering? Archaeological consensus dates Derinkuyu's earliest phases to around the 8th century BCE, though the full extent of its construction likely evolved over centuries. It is believed to have been built by the Phrygians, with later expansions by Byzantine Christians seeking refuge during times of conflict. Yet its sheer scale and complexity remain awe-inspiring. How was this vast underground city carved with primitive tools? What social and political structures governed life so far removed from sunlight and sky? The city's design speaks to a deep understanding of both defense and community. narrow tunnels twist and turn, creating choke points against attackers. Living spaces were arranged around communal areas, while water wells sunk deep into the earth ensured survival during prolonged sieges. Was Derinkuyu primarily a refuge from warfare, or did it serve other, more enigmatic purposes? Some scholars propose that Derinkuyu functioned as a sanctuary during periods of religious persecution, a hidden haven where communities preserved their beliefs and culture. The presence of chapels and baptismal fonts supports this notion. Yet, others speculate that the underground city might have played a role in ancient mystery traditions or esoteric practices, its labyrinthine corridors echoing symbolic journeys from darkness to light. Venturing further, one encounters evidence of remarkable engineering foresight. The ventilation shafts, numbering in the hundreds, allowed air to circulate through the depths, while sophisticated water channels directed runoff away from living spaces. Could these features reveal a civilization attuned not only to survival, but also to a profound respect for balance and sustainability underground? Beyond the practical, questions linger about the origins of Derinkuyu's knowledge. Was this unique subterranean city a local innovation, or did its builders draw inspiration from distant cultures skilled in underground construction? Similar underground complexes exist elsewhere, such as the nearby Kaimakli or even the Hypogeum of Malta, suggesting a shared human fascination with the underground as both shelter and sacred space. Speculative theories extend beyond conventional archaeology. Some fringe perspectives propose that Derinkuyu may be linked to ancient myths of subterranean worlds, perhaps even housing lost knowledge or treasures. While these ideas remain unproven, they highlight the enduring allure of hidden cities beneath our feet, places where history and legend intertwine. Walking through the cool, shadowed passages today, one can sense the weight of human experience etched into the stone walls, the countless lives sheltered here, the hopes and fears encoded in the layout. How did inhabitants cope with isolation and darkness? What stories of survival and community echo faintly in the chambers? Derinkuyu invites us to reconsider human adaptability, creativity, and resilience. It poses timeless questions. Why build such depths? What truths remain buried beneath centuries of earth and stone? And as we trace the winding tunnels by lantern light, the underground city stands as both a monument to human ingenuity and a silent guardian of mysteries still waiting to be discovered. From the vast highlands of southern Ethiopia, where the earth stretches into rolling plains dotted with thorny acacias and the sky opens wide above, emerges a landscape carved with ancient stones, silent sentinels that mark the passage of millennia. This is Tia, a sacred archaeological site known for its distinctive standing stones, or stelae, arranged across the terrain in enigmatic patterns that have puzzled scholars and travelers alike. At first glance, the stones appear simple, weathered monoliths rising vertically from the ground, each varying in height, texture, and markings. Yet, as the eye lingers, subtle details emerge, intricate engravings of swords, geometric shapes, circles, and anthropomorphic figures, etched deeply into the dark volcanic rock. These symbols are not mere decoration. They hint at a complex visual language, a coded narrative left by a people whose identities and intentions remain partly obscured by the veil of time. Tia's origins trace back to roughly the first millennium CE, associated with the later stages of the megalithic tradition in East Africa. The stones mark what archaeologists believe to be burial sites, memorials to the dead, or territorial markers. But beyond these broad classifications, the specifics remain tantalizingly elusive. Who were the artisans who carved these stones? What stories did they intend to tell? And why did this particular landscape become a canvas for such enduring stone artistry? The site contains over 30 stelae scattered across several burial grounds, each standing upright like a ghostly congregation. Their arrangement, sometimes isolated, sometimes in clusters, suggests deliberate placement, perhaps to delineate clans, mark significant events, or serve ritualistic functions. What societal structures governed these communities? What rituals accompanied the placement and carving of these stones? The engravings themselves spark further questions. The sword motifs, repeated across many of the stelae, evoke imagery of warriors and conflict, honor and power. Are these symbols memorials to fallen heroes or markers of social status? Some stones display abstract geometric patterns, circles, spirals, zigzags, motifs that resonate with ancient symbolic languages found elsewhere in Africa and beyond. Could these designs represent cosmological beliefs, spiritual journeys, or perhaps coded messages understood only by initiates of a secret tradition? Scientific investigations have revealed the stone's volcanic origins and the sophisticated tools likely used to carve them. Yet, how such precision was achieved and the full extent of the symbolic language remain topics of ongoing research. Could the stelae also encode calendrical or astronomical information, aligning with solar or lunar cycles to mark times of ritual or agricultural significance? The deeper we delve into Tia's mysteries, the more layers of interpretation emerge. Some researchers propose that the site was a nexus for ancestral worship, a place where the living connected with their forebears through ritual and memory. Others suggest it was a territorial boundary, its stones asserting dominion over valuable lands or resources. Still more speculative theories propose links to lost civilizations or forgotten migratory paths that shaped the region's cultural landscape. Within local traditions, the stones are often regarded with reverence and awe, embodying spiritual significance that transcends the archaeological record. Folklore imbues the site with stories of ancient kings, mythical warriors, and sacred rites, weaving a tapestry of meaning that survives alongside scientific inquiry. How much of this oral heritage preserves genuine historical insight, and how much reflects evolving cultural memory? The site's relative isolation in Ethiopia's rugged terrain has preserved it from extensive disturbance, yet it also challenges preservation efforts and limits comprehensive study. What further secrets might lie buried beneath the earth or hidden within the stone's weathered faces? Could future technologies unlock patterns invisible to the human eye, microscopic traces, mineral residues, or spectral signatures hinting at forgotten rituals? Standing among the Tia stones today, one feels enveloped by a quiet presence, an ancient dialogue between stone, sky, and earth. These monoliths, mute yet expressive, ask us to pause and consider the passage of time, the nature of memory, and the ways humans seek to mark their existence upon the world. What messages were carved here to withstand centuries, and what remains undeciphered, waiting patiently beneath layers of dust and history? As twilight descends over the Ethiopian highlands, the silhouettes of the stelae blend into the growing shadows, their mysteries deepening in the fading light. What truths do these stones conceal, and how might their silent testimony reshape our understanding of human connection to land, ancestry, and the sacred? The answers remain elusive, inviting us to listen carefully, look closely, and continue the exploration. Amid the mist-shrouded mountains of Sulawesi, Indonesia, lies a landscape shaped by centuries of tradition and belief, a place where the past and present intertwine in stone and ritual. This is the land of the Toraja, an indigenous people whose culture is deeply entwined with megalithic monuments scattered across their homeland. These stones, massive and often intricately carved, punctuate the hillsides and valleys, standing as silent witnesses to lives long lived and stories only partially told. The Toraja megaliths are distinct in their form and purpose. Unlike the towering pyramids of other ancient civilizations or the circular stone arrangements seen elsewhere, These stones often take the shape of menhir-like pillars or boat-shaped carvings, each carefully positioned in ceremonial contexts. Their surfaces bear engravings, sometimes abstract motifs, other times representations of animals, ancestors, or symbolic figures, crafted with an artistry that speaks to a profound spiritual connection. What draws the eye immediately is the stone's imposing presence, their scale magnified by the dramatic natural backdrop of terraced rice fields and dense forest. The Toraja people regard these megaliths as more than monuments. They are living elements of a complex cultural and religious system. These stones mark sacred spaces, funerary grounds, ancestral tombs, and ritual sites, where the boundaries between the physical world and the spiritual realm blur. The origins of these megaliths stretch back centuries, yet their precise age remains a matter of ongoing study and debate. Some scholars trace their beginnings to the early centuries CE, while others suggest they may be older, predating much of the region's written history. How did the Toraja come to carve and erect these monuments? What cultural impulses drove the creation of such enduring symbols? Excavations and ethnographic studies reveal that the stones are closely tied to the Toraja's unique death rituals and beliefs in the afterlife. The Toraja's elaborate funerary ceremonies, among the most complex in the world, involve the use of these megaliths as markers or gateways for the souls of the deceased. But why such monumental efforts? Is it an expression of reverence, an attempt to secure spiritual passage, or perhaps a way to affirm social status and community identity? The physicality of the stones is equally fascinating. Quarrying and transporting these megaliths demanded considerable communal labor and technical knowledge, especially in a rugged landscape. How did the Toraja achieve this without modern machinery? Were there specialized groups or rituals that facilitated the extraction and movement of stone? And might the very act of building have been a ritual itself, a communal enactment of faith and solidarity? Symbolism carved into the stones deepens the mystery. Some motifs echo agricultural cycles, animal totems, or celestial references, hinting at a cosmology that integrates earth, sky, and spirit. Could these carvings be a form of communication, encoding knowledge about life, death, and the universe? And if so, what language or system underpins this symbolic code? Speculative theories consider whether the Toraja megaliths reflect a wider network of megalithic traditions spanning the Indonesian archipelago and beyond. Did cultural exchanges or shared spiritual beliefs traverse these islands, influencing the form and function of these monuments? Or are the Toraja stones a unique local expression, born from particular historical and environmental circumstances? Further intrigue arises from the ongoing role these megaliths play in contemporary Toraja society. Unlike many ancient sites relegated to the past, these stones remain active participants in living traditions. Funerary rites, communal gatherings, and seasonal festivals continue to revolve around them, linking generations and sustaining a dialogue with ancestors. How does this continuity shape the meaning of the stones today? And how might it influence future interpretations of their origins? The megaliths also pose questions about the relationship between memory, monumentality, and identity. What does it mean to etch one's existence into stone? How do these physical markers embody intangible concepts like honor, lineage, and spirituality? And what stories have been lost or transformed over time, carried in the silences between the carved lines? Walking among the Toraja megaliths today is to enter a realm where stone and spirit converge, a space that invites contemplation on the enduring human desire to connect with the past and assert presence in the face of mortality. As shadows lengthen over the terraced hills and the wind stirs the leaves, the stones stand quiet yet eloquent, guardians of mysteries that continue to unfold with each passing season. What truths remain hidden within these carved monoliths, and how might future generations uncover their full significance? The stones offer no answers, only the patient invitation to listen, observe, and wonder at the profound legacy etched in the heart of Sulawesi's highlands.